evening, everyone. If you could please make your way inside. The candidate forum will start promptly at 5:30.
All right, it is 5:30 and we are ready to get started. I know we still have some people in the lobby, but we would ask that you make your way inside at this time as we will be closing the doors. Welcome to the Frisco Chamber Candidate Forum. It feels like we were just here not that long ago. Yeah, let's clap for that. Thank you. Now, for those who I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Crystal Howard. I'm the president and CEO of the Frisco Chamber. And tonight, I'm proud to say you will hear from all of the candidates vying for Frisco ISD trustee places 4 and 5, Frisco City Council places 5 and 6, and for the mayor's seat, which will have someone new for the first time in 9 years since Mayor Jeff Cheney is term limited. Now, the Frisco Chamber proudly represents just under 1,200 member businesses, and as part of that, we do not endorse candidates, but we do advocate for and promote business-friendly policy. Civic engagement is a big part of that, so thank you for doing your part to get to know the candidates by being here tonight and really getting to know the issues so we can work together to keep Frisco the best place to be in business, the best place to live, work, and play, which I'm proud to say my family does, and we're grateful for it every day. So we have a packed house, as you can see, with more people still coming in. We also have viewers watching the live stream on the Frisco Chamber YouTube channel. Thank you to all of you who are engaging in this effort. And something new this time. For the first time, through our partnership with Collin County Votes, we will be sharing videos of tonight alongside CCV and really investing in helping those reach more potential voters. So we ask that you engage in that too and do the same. Please share on your social media channels. We really want as many informed, engaged voters as possible. And we have to say a big thank you, as always, to Tim Payne, board member of the Frisco Chamber, and Grace Church for being an incredible host. Can we give them a round of applause? We also have back with us this evening our dynamic duo, esteemed co-moderators. Please give a round of applause for Rick Rogers and Samantha Dowdy. They didn't see that in the script. Now, Rick co-owns Frisco Enterprise and Star Local Media with his wife, Elizabeth, who is also here tonight, and Samantha Dowdy is the senior editor for Community Impact. Now, just to let you know, and maybe you submitted some of these, our Frisco Chamber members have submitted questions that are among our moderators' list and will be part of the forum this evening. As always, the format and rules are critical to keeping this on track, and we have a lot of candidates to get to know tonight, so that's very important. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to the Frisco Chamber Director of Government Relations. Please give it up for Maureen Johns, our enforcer.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We appreciate you. We do have a lot of candidates and races to get through this evening, as always, so we will strictly enforce the time limits. Each candidate gets a 2-minute opening statement and a 1-minute closing statement. And as our moderators ask questions, candidates will have 1 minute to respond. Our timekeeper will give candidates a 30-second warning card and a stop card when the time is up. And we will use a cowbell for anyone going over the time. Additionally, before the end of the moderator questions, each candidate can challenge one opponent's statement with a 30-second challenge statement. For example, if Crystal made a statement in her response to a question, I could challenge that with a 30-second challenge statement. Now, if Crystal chooses to then respond to my challenge statement, she would be using her one challenge to do so. This is a use it or lose it opportunity. If a candidate does not use their challenge statement during the main forum portion and before the moderator calls for closing statements, they will not be given an additional opportunity to do so. All right, Rick and Sam, they're all yours.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maureen, and great to see a full house here tonight. I hope you guys brought some snacks because it's going to be a long night, but a very informative one. We are going to start the evening with the candidates for the Frisco ISD Trustee Place 4. So let's please welcome to the stage in ballot order, Muni Janagurajun and Danette Davis. Sorry, Muni. right. We will start with a 2-minute opening statement, and we are going to go in ballot order. Muni, you're up first.
Good evening. My name is Muni. I'm running for the Frisco High School Board of Trustees for the place 4. I have been a resident for Frisco for almost 13 years, and I'm a professional. I'm an IT professional with a master's degree in computer science, and I'm a licensed real estate broker. And most importantly, I'm a Frisco ISD dad. My daughter graduated from the Frisco ISD in 2020 from the Sentinel High School, and I've been spent many years of volunteering as a crossing guard, and served in the chair for the nonprofit organization, and also I am served as a Richwoods HOA board for 5 years. I am running because Frisco ISD is no longer a growth district. We are a maturing school district. And yet we are still using the reactive management policies that leads to the budget deficits, campus closures, and the teacher retention policies issues, and campus safety issues. My platform is to build the student first agenda to make sure that we have a 15-year commitment to the 15-year policies, strategic planning policies, and I want to bring back the honesty and integrity of the board. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danette Davis, and I have been a resident of Frisco ISD since 2012. I am a mother of 3 Frisco ISD students, 2 of which have matriculated through elementary, middle, and high school, and 1 college graduate, 1 currently in college, and I still have 1 kiddo that is in middle school preparing to go to high school next year. I'm a lifelong educator. I have been in education since 2004. I have served you as your Frisco ISD board trustee for the past 6 years. And during that time, I've served as board president, secretary, and vice president. During my last term, which is 3 years, I've served as the board president for 2.5 years, working to ensure that we've selected him, our next leader that will take Frisco ISD forward. In addition to my role within Frisco ISD, I serve as administrator for a local community college, and I own 2 businesses. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here today. I am running on proven leadership. When times were difficult for Frisco ISD, I was there. You know me. Thank you.
Okay. We'll get into the questions now, and Danette, we'll start with you. As you mentioned, the board appointed Dr. Todd Fauci as the district's next superintendent. Fauci steps into the role at a pivotal moment, with enrollment declining, budgets tightening, and the district navigating a significant transition. How will you work to support Dr. Fauci as he takes the helm, and what does a productive working relationship between the board and the superintendent look like to you?
Thank you for the question. I believe that all leadership begins with goals. And our leadership ability as a board of 7, what we have determined to do or decided to do in our role as trustees is to ensure that we have set clear expectations for our superintendent, making sure that through the declining enrollment, ensuring that we are balancing a budget, which we have in the past year and plan to do so again in May. We want to ensure and will make sure that he has clear expectations and have a positive working relationship with him which includes making sure that we are available to him while holding him accountable. Thank you.
Mooney, question to you.
So I welcome the Dr. Fauci to the Frisco ISD. It's a very honor to have him. Since he's been here for our district, he worked for our district for many years, and he knows our underlying problem with the Frisco ISD, starting from the low student enrollment and the consecutive deficit budget for 3 years. And still we are trying to plug in the Band-Aid for all the budgets, where to plug the leaks and everything, right? I'll be glad to work with him and set the governing policies for the entire, set the governing policies and make sure that our students are the #1 priorities and the classrooms is a focus. We want to make sure that we have 77 campuses and we have to have a uniform grading policies, uniform curriculum throughout the policies. We have to change from the last, the superintendent mindset. He has to bring the new set of mindsets to the board to make sure that the parents and the teachers and the taxpayers work together to make sure that Frisco ISD is successful for the coming years.
Thank you. Mooney, you're actually going to start this next question for us. Frisco ISD has lost more than 2,200 students below projections in a single year. The board also voted to close Staley Middle School, and district officials had acknowledged that more campus retirements may be on the horizon. How do you approach the painful process of closing schools, and how do you ensure the communities around those campuses are treated with respect during the process?
So our community is built upon the schools. So we invested everything for, all the surroundings, based on the school reputation, we invested more into our properties, actually. So the declining enrollment, every year we are shedding, under her leadership, every year we are shedding thousands of students. And we are losing not only the students, we are losing the budget deficit also. We want to make sure that we need to stop the bleeding. We need to find out why it is happening. From the 63,000 students right now enrolled, in another 10 years, we are going to have 53,000 students. And what are we going to do with all the 77 facilities? 43 elementary schools we have, and most of them are almost running at 60 to 70%. There is no newcomers to those schools. Eventually, we don't have a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan to all those campuses. I want to put the dashboard metrics to make sure the homeowners understand what will happen to their schools in the 5 years, 10 years down the road.
Dinette, same question to you.
Thank you for the question. It is, in fact, 2,200 students that we are experiencing a decline. But what Frisco ISD, under my leadership, has done is to ensure that we create programs to fulfill the gaps that we're currently experiencing. And those gaps have come by way of more graduating seniors than we have entering kindergarten students. There are other opportunities that we can continue, but I want to discuss Access Frisco, Frisco Flex, as well as our tuition-based pre-K. Those are opportunities to fill those gaps on the campuses that have lower enrollment. I want to make sure that I'm clear in this response. We are not declining enrollment because Frisco ISD is not a good district. We're an A-rated district. In fact, the largest A-rated district in the state of Texas. And the decline that we are experiencing is across the state.
Dinette, you brought up Access Frisco. The district launched Access Frisco in 24-25, its first ever open enrollment program to attract students from outside district boundaries and offset enrollment-driven funding losses. Do you support expanding this program, and how do you ensure it strengthens the district without creating inequities across campuses?
Thank you for the question. I support making sure that the programs that we have in place right now are actually working before we continue to add anything new. Last year, we enrolled a foundation number of students for Access Frisco. This year, we tripled that number. And so I want to make sure, I believe in slow and steady wins the race. We have to make sure that the programs that we have put in place currently will work so that we can continue to fill the seats at the schools that currently have low enrollment. I don't know that I would support expanding it until I see where we are with our current program status. Thank you.
Access Frisco is one of the components we can bring outsiders to the school districts. I am for increasing it based on what evidence we have. We need to look at the data from the kindergarten to 9th grade, and 8th grade, how it is playing out, and what are the facilities we are lacking of the empty space, and we need to fill those seats, right? But I need to give them a more priority to the local residents first. There are a lot of residents, they want to, go between the school, transfer between the schools. I want to give them a first priority. And we need to identify why the students are leaving. Is it because of the cancel culture? Is it because of the polarization of the issues happening in the schools? Most students are going for a home-based schooling, or private schools, or charter schools. We need to compete with all those schools to make sure that Frisco ISD is academically the destination for every family, so that they stay in our schools. We need to identify the root cause for it.
Mooney, we'll go back to you with this next question. So after 3 consecutive years of deficit budgets, the district achieved its first balanced budget in years for the 2025-26 year, including a $9 million surplus. But the future, the 26-27 outlook projects a $36 million revenue decline driven by falling enrollment. What is your approach to keeping the district financially stable without gutting the classroom experience students and families expect from Frisco ISD?
Last year, we had a deficit budget, but because of the HB2 state funding, they were able to catch up the $30 million and come up with the $9 million surplus. And this year, they started with the $28 million deficit. Now, the last budget board, the budget board meeting, they discussed about $2.1 million deficit. We had to be honest with ourselves. If the student enrollment is going down, automatically the property tax revenue, everything will go down. How do we address it? They did the 171 teachers attrition program. They have not looked at the top-down approach to see where out of $770 million operation budget, we have 58% we are spending money for the classroom. The remaining 42% we are spending for the non-administrative staff. We need to look at the administrative thing, make sure that any cut down comes from the top to the bottom. I want to protect the classrooms, make sure the teachers, students have the first priority.
Thank you.
First, thank you for the question. Can you repeat the question? I want to make sure I understand exactly what you.
Absolutely. After 3 consecutive years of deficit budgets, the district achieved its first balanced budget in years for the 2025-26 year, including a $9 million surplus. But the 2026-27 outlook projects a $36 million revenue decline, driven by falling enrollment. What is your approach to keeping the district financially stable without gutting the classroom experience that students and families expect from Frisco ISD?
So our first approach, as I mentioned before, is Access Frisco, in addition to Frisco Flex, as well as our tuition-based pre-K program. With Access Frisco, we all know throughout the state of Texas, when a student leaves one school and they go to another, their money follows them. And so we've been able to do that through Access Frisco. In addition to that, the $9 million surplus that we had for this year was not because we received state funding. There were mandates that we had to spend within Frisco ISD for safety and security, as well as other legislative priorities that were brought down to us. In 2018, we began lowering our taxes. And since 2018, we have done so every single year. There is a such thing as Robin Hood. So despite the funding that we're able to collect, we do have to send a portion of that back to the state. What we intend to do within Frisco ISD to maintain our budget, our programs.
Okay. Do you want to challenge? Okay.
She's talking about reducing the tax rate since 2018. That is not true. Because of the HB state legislators' HB2 bill, they have introduced the compression. Because of the compression, our tax rates are low right now. So it is a wrong statement that they didn't do anything. Last year, they come up with a $1 billion bond and the tax rate increased. Remember that. It is not her achievement. It is because of state government funding, our tax rates are low right now.
All right, this is your chance to take our jobs and ask each other a question. You get 30 seconds to ask the question, 1 minute to answer. Danette, you go first.
I just have one question. Having served for the past 6 years and volunteered since 2012, since coming to Frisco ISD, I would like to know, besides your role as crossing guard for 3 years, what else have you done to make Frisco ISD better?
I served as the crossing guard for 3.5 years. Whether it's a rain or shine, every day I show up. I see these kids, the faces. Every day they come in the morning with a great smile. When they leave the home, when they leave the school, when they see their parents, I see the same smile, same enthusiasm, and the motivation. That is very hard. It is not just sitting in the AC room with the committees and just monthly attending one meeting is not enough. I served more for our school district. I attended the school board meetings and asked for a lot of questions. You can go back and look at all the videos you have. I am a very honest person, and I have honesty and integrity, where you don't have it. The 2020 Dallas Morning News and 2023 Dallas Morning News, you said you don't have any bankruptcy on it. That was wrong. You lied to the voters, and you misled the voters purposefully.
Moody? No.
No, he was responding to your question.
Yes.
So now you can ask a question. He
Moody,
asked a question.
Moody, you have a chance to ask a question. 30-second question, 1 minute answer, please.
So, in 2020, when you got elected, you implemented the DEI and the gender ideology, all the polarization of this, whatever the cultural war, everything you brought into the 4 years. Why you brought it? Frisco ISD is a neutral place where every child has the opportunity to learn and educate. Other than the education, we don't have any other purpose of any political identity, ideology. We should be unbiased, unpoliticized education. Why did you implement all those policies where our community is divided?
Thank you so much. For your question, when I was elected in 2020, I ran on making sure that every child felt loved and supported, and that our students and teachers felt that equally. I didn't run as DEI. It's illegal. It has been. What I have done as a trustee, I have ensured that I followed the law. So any policies that were implemented, the only policies that could be implemented are those that the state allows us to adopt. Anything else would be illegal, and that is not what has taken place.
Well, thank you both for answering our questions. We're now going to move into our closing statements, which you each have 1 minute to answer. We're going to go in reverse ballot order this time. So, Dinette, you're going to go first with your closing statement.
Thank you. I have faithfully served our district for the past 6+ years. I did not just start when I became elected. I asked a question tonight of what my opponent has done to make Frisco ISD better. That wasn't to take away from his time as a crossing guard for 3 years. That was to ask what in addition to, because this is his 4th time running, and there has to be something that he has done to prove that he is able to actually serve on our board. My name is Danette Davis, and I approve this message.
Thank you for your time and the opportunity to listen to us. This is a very important election. For the last 6 years, you have seen the leadership, reactive leadership. And the last year, the campus safety was, very bad, actually. We saw the murder happen in the broad daylight. And as a school board, they have not even issued a single grievances to the victim of the family. Even today, there is no statement. And we have 63,000 students and the 9,000 staffs in our school district. And I want to make sure that all lives are matter. Campus safety is a serious issue. I want to bring the honesty and the integrity back to the board. I don't want to lie to the people just for getting votes. I will be honest, truthful. I want to make sure that every student succeed in their career and their life. I want to create a lifelong learner. Please do support me. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for our Place 4 candidates. At this time, can Frisco ISD Trustee Place 5 candidates make your way to the stage? Vying for the Place 5, we have Misty Wamhoff, Babu Venkat, and Shri Moli Maji. Welcome to the hot seats. So you've all heard the rules this evening and received them prior to the forum. We're going to start with our 2-minute opening statements in ballot order. So Misty, that means you're up. You're going to start first as soon as Maureen's done passing those out. All right, you're up with your 2-minute opening statement.
Is it on? Yes? Okay. My name is Misty Wamhoff, and I'm running for Frisco ISD School Board of Trustees, Place 5. My husband and I have been in Frisco for the last 17 years. We've raised our 3 children here. 2 of them are Frisco ISD graduates. Our youngest is currently a sophomore at Reedy High School. I've been a longtime volunteer and within our community and as well as in the district. I've served on the PTA, on the leadership board. I currently serve as the Denton County Child Protective Services Board as the vice president. I stay engaged with the different programs and the organizations within the district. My years of service have actually helped me have a deep understanding of how decisions actually affect students, teachers, and parents. Frisco ISD has done a lot of good things, but there's some challenges ahead. There's the declining in enrollment, which then brings budget issues. We also need to make sure we maintain safe schools, retain and support our teachers, as well as being able to commit to the strength and transparency with our parents and our community. My commitment is to be a good steward of taxpayer resources, as well as to support our teachers, and I'm here to listen. I want to strengthen the transparency and keep our schools safe. I also want to strengthen our partnership with our parents. I'm running for Frisco ISD because I love this community, and I also understand our schools. Again, I listen. I want to be able to help Frisco ISD navigate this moment in time with honesty, steadiness, and with a focus on students. Thank you.
Babu, we'll go to you.
Good evening. My name is Babu Venkat. I'm running for Frisco ISD, Place 5. Before that, I'm a father of 2, and who moved to Frisco ISD 16 years ago, packed our bags, left Overland Park, Kansas, with our 2 kids, with just one friend whom I know in Dallas, and nothing else, to Frisco ISD just for its schools. And raised both my kids here. My son graduated Lone Star High School. My daughter is currently in Lone Star High School. So I've been having a kid in Frisco ISD for the last 16 years always, right? When we moved, the district had 6 high schools, 30,000 students. Have seen how we have grown, how fast we have grown. And in the last few years, I'm also seeing what we are going through, the kind of challenges. Professionally, I work as a chief revenue officer for a technology company. And from a volunteer standpoint, I'm deeply committed to the community. I co-founded 2 nonprofits, which helps the local food banks, school, backpack drives, and we also, raise money for our local police and firefighters associations. Very deeply committed to the community for the last 15 years and always try to give back in any way I can. And looking at the current challenges and looking at my background, I felt, hey, this is a time we need a little bit of, difference in how we think and operate. And I looked at our budget challenges and said, hey, this is a time for me to step up and see how I can help the Frisco ISD and keep our Frisco ISD strong. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me? All right, bright lights, by the way. First time up here. What's that? All right, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the Chamber for hosting this. My name is Sri Maji. I'm running for Place 5. We've been a resident of Frisco for 10 years, and we have a 16-year-old boy who's a sophomore at Centennial High School right now. I'm no stranger to many people in this room because I've been serving our schools and our community for a long time. And some of the things I've done include I've served on the board of Frisco Education Foundation, where we helped our teachers and students with grants, scholarships, STEM programs, and things like that. I've served on multiple district advisory councils within FISD, including I'm on the Legislative Leadership Committee right now, so we're helping define the advocacy for FISD for next year. I also mentor our high school students in the classroom through programs like DECA, Incubator, Independent Study and Mentoring, and things like that. I've gone through the Frisco ISD leadership programs like FISD Insight and Board Leadership Academy. I'm the only candidate up here who's gone through those. And I've been recently endorsed by the Frisco Educators Panel unanimously for my contributions to FISD. Professionally, I have 25 years of experience with companies like T-Mobile, Chase, and I'm a Buckeye. I have a master's and MBA from The Ohio State University. I'm a huge Buckeye fan, OHIO, I see somebody there. The reason I'm running for this role is simple. We have some heavy headwinds coming our way, with enrollment, budgeting, teacher retention, things like that. And we need a strong leader to join the board and make sure we can help shepherd the next phase of Frisco ISD. We have a very young board, and with my extensive experience inside FISD and my service to the community, I feel I can play that role. Thank you.
Sri, you already have the microphone primed. Let's just start with you with this. I'm right here. Hi. We'll just start with you for this first question. So the board has appointed Dr. Fauci as the district nest superintendent at a pivotal moment for the district. How will you support Dr. Fauci in delivering results that strengthen the district's role as a talent pipeline for the local economy? And what does an effective board superintendent partnership look like in driving measurable outcomes?
Can you hear me? Okay. I was in the FISD admin building when they announced Dr. Fauci as the lone superintendent a couple of weeks ago. I think our trustees did a great job. They went through an extensive process, interviewed several candidates, and in the end, I think we got the right man for the job. Mr. Fauci, I've known Mr. Fauci as I served on multiple councils and committees and things like that. He's a very experienced administrator. I think he has the right values for Frisco ISD. Yeah, I look forward to working with him on some of the challenges we talked about. To me, success means we work in a partnership, the entire board. With him, we work as partners, and we achieve outcomes that benefit the entire community of stakeholders, which includes students, teachers, parents, retired teachers, and everybody else in the community. And I'm sure we'll do that. Thank you.
Dr. Fauci has been a great choice. Coming from an MBA human resources background, I always think about succession planning, right? And that's been one of the areas, and I've been tracking closely, and I always like somebody, when promoted from inside. And to look at your, the question fundamentally, right? How do we, keep him accountable, right, and measurable, right? I think as a board of trustees, it's a partnership. We need to make sure he has all the available tools to achieve our goals. But we also need to set the priorities and help him, right, and make sure we give him the right tools and support to get the outcomes that we need. And those outcomes need to be defined, whether it could be budgeting balance, it could be maintaining the classrooms. I think the classrooms are a key piece. Teacher retentions, right? And those are the key metrics that we need to set expectations with him and hold him accountable and work with him closely as partners. Thank you.
Is it on? Yes, okay. So I met Dr. Fauch, it was like a week or two before it was announced that he was selected for the superintendent. I sat down with Dr. Waldrop and the instructional team, and he's a very nice man. He's very transparent, very just approachable, very nice man. I think some of the things that we just need to make sure that stays in focus is the transparency, right? As I've heard through a lot of my communication with a lot of the people that I've been talking to this week and other weeks, they just want to be heard. Families want to be heard, and so we just want to make sure that we have a good partnership with our superintendent and that he hears us, the parents, and our community members. Thank you.
Okay, for our next question, Babu, we will start with you. A Chamber of Commerce is always interested in a high-quality workforce. And a high-quality workforce starts with great educators, but attracting and retaining teaching talent is increasingly difficult in a competitive market. How do you prioritize teacher compensation and retention while managing tighter budgets? And what role do you see educator quality playing in supporting Frisco's broader economic success?
It's an interesting question, and I'm sure I answered it in a couple of forums already in my question and answers, right? And teacher retention is a key area. And as I mentioned, succession planning, right? And probably I will little go over that. I'll try to wrap it up in a minute, but just give me 10 more seconds extra if I needed it. So fundamentally, I need to look at how we are operating currently, including our substitute teachers. I'm talking about teacher workloads. We currently, a third party is giving our substitute teacher. Talking with kids and parents in the last 2 months, I realized there is a third grader has 3 math teachers within the same year, right? So what we have to do is we have to bring our substitute teachers in-house, and which should be our employees, who should act as a feeder system, as well as a help to the teachers so that he can reduce the workload, and in unavoidable reason a teacher leaves, you have somebody to step up, and you maintain the continuity. That is a way that we have to start looking innovative than, we are doing this way and other way. Because unfortunately, we have been doing the same things for some years. Our challenges are new, and we need to think outside the box. And there are a few more I can probably have a one-on-one conversation and discuss about it more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Misty, same question to you.
Repeat the question.
Sure. How do you prioritize teacher compensation and retention while managing tighter budgets? And what role do you see educator quality playing in supporting Frisco's broader economic success?
So one of the things that I know Frisco ISD has done to help our teachers is they work together with our legislators, and we're able to have something called a teacher incentive allotment, and that helps with the compensation. It was something that Frisco ISD had to do some work with, and they did the work. A smaller district didn't have those resources, but Frisco ISD got it done. And so a lot of our teachers actually have benefited from this, and they keep adding more teachers to this program. Something that just we need to do is take care of our teachers. There's a lot of them that love Frisco ISD, and we just want to make sure that they're taken care of from either workload as well as good leadership, and making sure we're hearing them, because I've talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them just want to be heard. Thank you.
Sure.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. This is tricky, by the way. Just real quick, I had the great privilege of serving on the 2026 Teacher of the Year Selection Committee in FISD this year. And I had 25 elementary teacher applications, and I can tell you we have great talent inside FISD. But we got to, our attrition is about 15%, which is pretty big for a school district of our size. But we got to take care of it in 3 ways. One, make sure their pay is competitive, and that we got to prioritize that as we look at our school budgeting. But we can also do some advocacy with our state. Our teachers got increases last year, which is great. The TIA increments are gonna work as well, but we got to make sure their pay is competitive. 2, reduce the administrative overhead. This is the number one thing I hear from our teachers. Is like we got way too much to do outside the classroom, so we got to find ways to cut that down. And 3, show appreciation as a community. I think we can do a lot to help them. And did I mention I got endorsed by the educators panel of Frisco ISD? I'm not sure if I did or not. So thank you.
Misty, we'll start with you with this next question. Frisco ISD is transitioning from a high-growth district to one focused on sustainability and optimization. What is your vision for Frisco ISD in this new era, and how will you ensure the district continues to be a key driver of talent, innovation, and economic vitality for the Frisco community? I'll get to the meat of it. What is your vision for Frisco ISD in this new era, and how will you ensure the district continues to be a key driver of talent, innovation, and economic vitality for the Frisco community?
So Frisco ISD has done a great job of hiring good teachers. They go through an extensive background. They have a lot of rigorous things that they have to do in order to become a FISD teacher. And I believe that we have the right people that can bring in that talent. They're able to discern who's best, who fits where. And so I think as long as we continue to do the things that we're doing, I think we should be successful. Continue to bring more.
Thank you. We'll actually go to Sri next for this question.
Can you repeat the question, if you don't mind?
Y'all are going to keep me on my toes today.
I thought I understood, but I just want to make sure.
What is your vision for Frisco ISD in this new era, and how will you ensure the district continues to be a key driver of talent, innovation, and economic vitality for the Frisco community?
Yeah, I mean, this is all about how do we spend our dollars wisely going forward. That's what the district calls sustainability. You've heard our enrollment is dropping for a number of factors. We are funded by the state based on enrollment, so you pay your property taxes. That goes to state of Texas. They give us approximately $8,000 or so per student. It's a complicated formula, and we on the LLC right now, we're going through all the details to make sure we can ask for more money in the next legislature. But as our enrollment declines, as our state funding declines, we really have to make the right choices. I think very quickly, one, go after innovative or newer revenue streams like Access Frisco, Frisco Flex, paid pre-K, summer camps. There are other ideas being thrown out there. 2, cut our expenses or optimize our spend to make sure we don't run into deficits. And 3, advocacy with the state. I mean, that's where all the money is going. We got to make sure we can work with all the legislatures across Texas, not just the big cities, but also the rural districts, to make sure we can ask for things that we are underfunded. Thank you.
That's definitely a loaded question. Multiple times we need to ask the question. So how does the innovation, right? I think we need to strengthen our classrooms. I know we are A-rated, but I don't think we have enough strengthening of STEM programs within our campuses, right? Talking to multiple kids, I can also relate and understand there are not enough STEM clubs, and they have to self-fund a lot of those things. So we have to get fiscally responsible, and we need to find those money to divert to the campuses to strengthen our existing programs, which include some extracurricular. For example, we built $115 million in Panther Creek School. Even the theater students during junior, senior year has to shell out extra from their packets to be there, right? And as an example. So things like that, we can definitely strengthen it and do that. Other thing, I don't want to keep blaming the state. We have to do a lot of things with state, but we have legislative priority committees, and we have been trying to do that for years, right? And I don't think that's something is going to help in the short term. We need to look at solutions in the short term, what we can control while we push our committees to go forward and get those legislative priorities. Thank you.
Great. Babu, your mic's on, so we're going to start with you. We're going to give each of you a chance to ask one opponent a question, just one. So choose wisely. You have 30 seconds to state the question, and you'll have 1 minute to answer. Babu, your question.
All right, I think I will ask this to Sri. It's more than a question, it's more as a clarification, and it's going to be two parts. One, you mentioned more than once Frisco educators. I would like to understand a little more about the Frisco educators. How many educators are part of that association, which you claim unanimously were endorsed? Part two, you mentioned a young board in multiple conversation, but it is the same board that came from a similar background of you from the committees and everything from the system, Renee Sample, I know Dennett is there for some years and others, right? How does it differentiate you when you say young board? It's an experienced board in my opinion.
Gotta be quick. 1 minute to answer.
1 minute to answer. Okay. Educator panel. So just to be very clear, I think I made it very clear. Educator panel. So every year, a group of educators representing FISD get together. They meet all of the candidates one-on-one, so 20 minutes each. I believe they ask the same questions, but generally the same set of questions. They look at the answers, and they pick one of the candidates and endorse them. In my case, I think there were 10 or 12 educators, I don't remember, but it was a rapid fire of questions, and at the end of it, they chose me as the clear and obvious choice. In fact, they had an email, I don't have it with me, but they're very, there's a lot of nice things to say about my experience and service. Second, when I say young board, Dinette is the most experienced. She has 6 years of experience, the next person 4. Everybody else has less than 2. It's not an age thing, it's the number of years on the board. It just happened that we had a lot of experienced board members 5 years ago, and they all rolled out, and we are hiring new leaders, but we need to hire the right leaders. That's the message.
Time, thank you. Misty, your chance. Question to one candidate. 30-second question, 1 minute answer.
My question is for Sri. So you were on the bond committee, you said for Frisco ISD. Will you keep Frisco taxpayers and parents at the focus of the next decisions and not after?
Wonderful, I was waiting for that. Listen, 2 things real quick about bonds. One, bonds represent your choice as Frisco voters to invest in our schools or maintain our schools. You voted in 2014 yes to a bond, in 2018 yes to a bond, 2024 you said no. The state doesn't fund building of our schools, so we have to pay for it ourselves. So the schools that you love, your kids went to, were built by bond dollars. So but the voters, you make that decision. Second, there's a process. A group of volunteers come together, and they study for months, and they review all the priorities. We did that in 2024. We visited Staley, we visited all the older schools, we saw firsthand the condition they're in, and then we voted on a bunch of priorities and sent it to the board. The board, FISD, they looked at it, and they packaged it, and they sent it in front of the voters. In my opinion, the reason it failed, it was packaged incorrectly. Prop B was $985 million. It should have been half of that. We only lost that 52-48. So
time, thank you.
Thank you.
Cherie, your chance.
My turn.
You've been the subject of 2 questions. Now it's your chance to ask a question. So you can't ask yourself, because that'd be weird.
Can I?
You can't. Well, I guess
one more question.
He could. Okay. 30 seconds for the question, 1 minute for the answer. You go.
Yeah, I could ask the same question to both my opponents, but I'll ask it to Babu. I'm just perplexed why you're running in this election. I'm sorry to say this. I don't see you doing anything for Frisco ISD. Not even one thing volunteering at our schools. I heard you volunteer in Costa Rica, but why haven't you found the time to volunteer in our schools? Our teachers need your help. Our students need your help. Our schools need our help. Just perplexed you are running for the board without doing anything.
Sri, I'm glad you asked the question. I know we have been talking about this on the trail for some time. Volunteerism doesn't mean you have to just do in one thing. The reason that my town of council, half of them are going to endorse me, purely because I volunteered in local community. I was involved in local food banks. It's unfortunate you didn't know that. or you could have asked me, and I'm sure we shared that, right? And I've started LEAF, Little Lamb Angels Foundation, right? I'm a co-founder of it. We start and scale things. And I started Little Lamb Cricket Association. Now, when we come back and talk about it, let's talk about accountability. Oh, I am part of bond committee. I sent it to the board. Board didn't do it right. Then what are we doing as part of the committee member? It is not about what we get involved or I just stand up. It is about what do we do? What have we accomplished in spite of all this? You mentioned your Frisco Education Foundation director, which is one of 20. Rene Sample, who got elected, was a president of the same Frisco Education Foundation, and you say this board is not did the bond right, and this board is inexperienced.
Time.
How do you justify
Time.
that?
Rick, you're getting strict with that
I
time.
am. Hey. All right. Thank you, candidates. Now it's time for closing statements. 1 minute in reverse ballot order. Cherie, we'll start with you.
All right. I had two closing statements. I'll use the second one. Listen, the trustee position is one of leadership, okay? We are here to represent you in the community, and we are here to make sure we govern the school district and they're compliant with everything from a funding and budgeting and law perspective. To me, leadership is about three things: intelligence, initiative, and integrity. Intelligence is, do you have the skills and knowledge to do the job? Initiative, are you going to show up for our schools and our kids? You know, are you going to show up and, you know, demonstrate that you care? And three, integrity is, are you in it for the right reasons? Are you going to bring the community together and make sure we solve the challenges ahead? You know, I've done all that. I think I've explained a few things, but I've shown up for our schools and our kids time and time again. I have formed relationships across this room and across the community, and we can make sure on day one we get the ball rolling. Integrity, initiative, and intelligence, I have all three. Sri Maji, place 5. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. First and foremost, Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much for arranging this. I think it's very informal, information to all our voters. And thank you all for taking the evening and coming to listen to us. For me, leadership is about accountability, right? It is not about showing up. It is about do what you said you're going to do when you show up. It is not about checking the box about 20 committees and this and that. It is about what have you accomplished. As a community member for 15 years, I have contributed to the local community in various ways, including founding multiple nonprofits. Volunteerism is not about just being an ISD board. And what the board needs right now is we have 7 board of trustees for a reason. We need diversified skill sets. And those diversified skill sets, like he mentioned, young board, and people coming from the same system. And there is a change, and here is an opportunity. I am in your community for 16 years, and I love this community, will continue to be here. Thank you so much. Please vote for Babu.
I'm running because I do love this community, but I also understand its goals, and I am listening. I want to be your voice. I want to be able to bring your voice to the table when difficult decisions are made, and we protect our vulnerable kids and our teachers and you. My name is Misty Wamhoff. I'm running for Frisco ISD. School Board of Trustees, place 5. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. We're going to go ahead and switch from our Frisco ISD races now to our city council races. Place 5 candidates, please make your way to the stage. Thank you all for taking your water bottles as a souvenir. Everybody else take note, please take your water bottles.
And as a reminder, as we get set up with this change, early voting for the May election runs from April 20th through April 28th. Election day is Saturday, May 2nd. Visit friscochamber.com/vote for polling locations and times, your sample ballot, and helpful informational links.
So our candidates for Frisco City Council, place 5, in ballot order are Shri Kanth Reddy, Vijay Karthik, and Lori Rummel. Laura, oh my gosh, Laura. I'm looking at the phonetical spelling and it threw me off. Laura, we talked so much.
And you're going to blame me because I was supposed to read this one.
I know, that was Rick's script. I didn't practice it. Laura, don't hold that against me.
Hey, real quick too, Samantha, also, it's always helpful to remind everyone that plurality wins for Frisco ISD, but it takes a majority for city council races. So the highest vote getter will win for Frisco ISD races, but there could be a runoff for the city races.
That just means we get to hang out again, right?
That's true.
All right, we're going to get started with our opening statements, 2 minutes opening statements. We're going to start with Shri Kranth.
So good afternoon, everyone. This is Srikanth. I've been living in Frisco since 13 years, and I've been part of this community service since then. I've been a teacher, moral science teacher, and I was a servant leader, still I am servant leader. So I organized many community events in Frisco and invited all the leaders so that the residents of Frisco can communicate and get aligned with the mainstream. So that's what I was doing since almost 13 years. So Frisco is at a turning point. So we need to make sure that Frisco continues to grow. So for that, we need to have smart growth, not a growth that is really coming really fast. Strong infrastructure before expansion. That this is very important point, where the development happens with intention, not by default. And transparency, which is very important, that the communication is getting passed to the residents of Frisco without any blocks. This is a very important point, that the communication is which helps residents to understand what policies are being implemented in the city. And to say about Frisco City was established in 1903 and incorporated 1908. And Emerson was the name of the city. It got the name Frisco later. I really love Frisco City. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to Grace Church, and also thank you for the timer, I guess. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting the event as well. My name is Vijay Karthik, running for Frisco City Council Place 5. My wife Kelly and I have called Frisco home for the last 10 years. We raised our kids here, twin boys, who are in UT Dallas right now. They're also successful entrepreneurs. I am a global executive with 30 years of experience. Most recently, I've served as a global chief technology officer for Procter & Gamble. I was also the CTO for Neiman Marcus. I've managed cumulative budgets exceeding $1 billion. I know how to manage people. I know how to manage budget. And I know how to deliver at scale. I'm also a named co-inventor on a patent for in-flight Wi-Fi. So if any of you are on a plane next time unconnected, think about me. Why am I running? I'm running because Frisco deserves a councilman who's going to bring honesty and can hear the residents of Frisco. I've taken zero money from PACs, zero money from developers, and zero money from special interest groups because I answer to the taxpayers of Frisco. Here's my platform: servant leadership, fiscal responsibility, workforce development, commitment to bring safety to Frisco. Looking forward to your support and your questions. Thank you.
All right, Laura, you'll wrap it up for us here with opening statements.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Laura Rummel, and I am running for re-election to Frisco City Council Place 5. Thank you for that. I currently serve as the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem here in the city of Frisco. That is a leadership position within the City Council that's appointed by my peers. And we are going through a transition within City Council. I am moving from a more junior position to where I am now one of the most senior people on council. I am grateful that I've had the opportunity to lead through principled leadership and uncompromised integrity. I am extremely accessible to the community. I have always been available and out in the community. Experiencing what's important to you is also important to me. A little bit about me personally. I've been here in Frisco for over 20 years. My parents moved here while I was in college, and then my first job ended up being here, and I had the North Dallas as part of my territory. My husband, Hayden, and I have been married for almost 18 years. He's usually right by my side, but unfortunately, he had a family emergency and had to fly out earlier today. So I have my parents, who also live here in Frisco, are stepping in and helping out. So please go say hi to my dad. He's working the table while we are up here. I am very lucky to have such an incredibly supportive community, and it's my honor to be able to give back to you guys. Since I've been on council, I have maintained a focus on three main things: fiscal responsibility, forward progress on stuck projects, as well as moving Frisco forward. And it's been my honor to serve you, and I look forward to more policy questions later.
Laura, we're going to start with you, so keep that mic on. The word unity has been at the center of many of these city race conversations, followed closely by diversity. And recent public comment at city council meetings has not only drawn attention at the local level, but well beyond our city's borders. What does your leadership look like in actively uniting Frisco? And how do you make it clear from day one what kind of city Frisco is?
So one of the first things to generate unity is doing things in a positive manner. This will be my third race since I've been elected, and I have never once run a negative campaign, ever. I've never put out a negative text. I've never put out a negative mailer, because I've never needed to. I've been able to talk about Frisco and talk about what actually matters. And I think that's what matters, because we all want the same things. If we're all focusing on making sure we live in a prosperous neighborhood, we're living in clean streets, safe city, those are the things that we can all focus on and we can all align on. From a diversity perspective, we have actively worked on celebrating the different cultures that we have here in Frisco. And if you haven't seen me at any of these community events, look at my official page. I don't put half of what we go to on there, but I am very active and out in the community because I want people to see that their council members are accessible and easy to get a hold of.
BJ, same question to you.
So my wife and I moved to Frisco because of two reasons: safety and schools. When it comes to community engagement, my opponent over here was trying to reduce your input time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. When I'm on the council, I'll make sure that every resident of Frisco has time to speak. We'll engage with every homeowners and make sure that everybody's heard. And that's what's called community engagement. We won't tolerate people coming and spewing hate, but we'll make sure that everybody has time to come and speak. Thank you.
So community engagement is what I've been doing since 13 years. So been organizing so many carnivals and inviting all the leaders to the events, and people, they got connected with the leaders. Every resident of Richwoods is pretty much is a Facebook friend of all the leaders here. So that way the communication happened between the residents of Frisco and the leaders, as well the multicultural events I organized, yoga camps I organized. I myself am a moral science teacher, so that helped me understand how the community engagement needs to be done and what needs to be taught or given, the knowledge transfer can be done so that people can live happily in the city. So Frisco is a family-based city, and it's peaceful, and we want to keep it same. So I will engage in that front to make sure Frisco prospers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to remind you all that you do have a challenge to use before we get into this next question. This question, we'll start with you, Vijay. Frisco has built its brand on big moments. Think ACM Awards, KPMG, Women's PGA, FIFA World Cup base camp status. How would you ensure the city's economic identity works for everyday residents, not just the businesses and visitors that those events attract?
Sorry, I'm lost completely. Can you repeat the question again?
We'll go again. Frisco has built its brand on big moments like the ACM Awards, the KPMG Women's PGA, FIFA World Cup base camp status. How would you ensure the city's economic identity works for everyday residents and not just the businesses and visitors those events attract?
I think from my EDC point of view, we got to make sure that we bring in the top companies to Frisco. Those events that you mentioned, they probably cater to a super small segment of Frisco residents, right? But then when you bring in bigger companies to Frisco, all you're doing is you're going to sort of create opportunities for local residents and also make sure that the small businesses within Frisco can be used by these big corporations, right? And the bottom line is the tax. When you bring in big companies to Frisco, they're going to add to the bottom line tax revenue, which is going to help everybody's tax as well. But so any event that we do has to be catered to everybody, and the EDC should make sure that we bring in top employers to Frisco.
So in regards to economic development of Frisco, so I just want to stress on property taxes at initially. So property tax is definitely a big burden to residents of Frisco because we do not have major clients or big corporates in Frisco except T-Mobile. So T-Mobile is a little bit more than 1,000 employees they have. So if you want to reduce the property tax on the residents, it has to be a commercial tax base from the corporates or inefficient spending that can be stopped. What else we have to do to reduce the burden on the residents? It can be go to the base price, property tax on the base price, probably that one area. So we need to brainstorm on these areas and make sure the residents are not burdened. We need to have more corporates in Frisco.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I believe the question was actually focused on tourism, not necessarily economic development. So tourism is incredibly important to Frisco. And part of that is because the average of $2,500 of your property tax is decreased because of tourism and what that brings to our community. That is an important number. That's why we focus on tourism. So a couple of ways that we do that to where it's just as important for our residents. In many cases, we've worked on where citizens and business owners can get involved. When we're talking about FIFA, when we're talking about the PGA, we are actively working with the Chamber of Commerce to help get the opportunities in front of our small business owners so that way that they can get involved and they can take advantage of that. That keeps bringing things back into our economy and helps rise everything in Frisco up. We also want to make sure our residents have the opportunities to participate, so we make sure that we're putting out how to get tickets, how to get involved, how to volunteer, and all of those give the opportunity to Frisco residents and Frisco business owners to enjoy those activities as well.
Sharif Conant, we're going to start with you on this question, and we're going to talk about public safety staffing. Keeping police and fire staffing ahead of population growth requires a sustained commitment. How do you keep public safety a top priority as the growth continues in Frisco?
Public safety is something which is very crucial to Frisco. And right now we do have 400 plus staff the police Frisco PD has. And what is the plan if 100,000 people are added to Frisco? But that is the growth plan, that is the expectation that we are from 2040, that is the expectation. So at that point, the budget, half of budget is given to Frisco PD, for the governance, for the first responders. So if 100,000 are being added to the Frisco, the measures need to be really strong because public safety is really important for Frisco. The intersections are being crowded and the traffic is improving like anything. The cops are needed, more cops are needed to govern this. So we need to plan on this. Thank you.
Laura?
So as my opponent said, that it is absolutely important from a public safety perspective, and 50% of our budget does go to public safety, and we plan to keep it that way. One of the ways that we make sure that we are maintaining the best of the best when it comes to our public safety is competitive pay, competitive benefits, and the resources they need to productively do their job. That is something we've been very focused on. And as we're working to build out our city, we've opened a new fire station since I've been on council. We're working on opening another one right now, and we're already starting to hire the firefighters to be able to build that over a series of years, so we're not hiring an entire station in 1 year, which causes a significant disruption to the budget. And finally, we have to maintain our police officers because those are incredibly in high demand right now. We are recruiting officers from other cities because of you, because of the community that supports their public safety and appreciates them and the work that they do. I'm proud to be endorsed by both our Frisco Police Officers Association as well as our Firefighters Association for the work I've done.
Like both my opponents have said, public safety is about 50% of the budget, right? Frisco needs to do a better job of keeping up pace with the growth. By 2040, we expect about 100,000 more people to move to Frisco, which means that we need to continue to hire. There's a lead time in hiring public safety. We were at a candidate briefing session where our police chief was talking about the open headcounts that they have, and it takes about minimum 6 to 8 months to hire somebody. But as we hire, we also lose people as well. So we got to make sure that we pay them well to retain them and not lose them. So that's the number one thing. Number two, a lot of us moved here because of one big reason, safety. We got to continue to invest on them, continue to invest on our first responders. There's a new fire station opening up, double down on it. In the next 5 years, continue to reevaluate, and if we need to invest more, let's do that. Thank you.
All right, now we want to turn the tables on you and give each of you an opportunity to ask one of your opponents a question. You'll have 30 seconds to state the question, and then the standard 1-minute response. Laura, we're going to start with you and your burning question for one of your opponents.
Ooh. That is the hardest question.
That's the hardest question we're going to ask tonight.
That is the hardest question. I'll give the question to Shri. There's obviously been a lot going on recently with the Indian community, and they have faced some unfair scrutiny. How would you recommend we continue to step up and continue to support our community?
So we need to make sure that we need to have more cultural events so that people come together, understand each other, and things that are happening in Frisco are not really good because probably about a suggestion to Laura again. So the City Hall meetups, initially there are outsiders who are coming and speaking for about 1 hour or something. That actually is stirring up Frisco relations between all the people, different people. So that actually can be moved to the end and discuss policy in the starting so that won't create any issues. Every meetup that's happening is just stirring up every person in Frisco. They are really scared. So this is what we have to do. Just move that initial first 1 hour meetup with the other residents and other outsiders to the end of the meetup, the City Hall meetup.
Thank you.
That will help us.
Thank you. Vijay, you now get to ask a question of one of your opponents. Just one.
One question or?
One question for one opponent. And you have 30 seconds.
Should I be nice or not?
Remember,
your campaign.
remember unity. No.
We are all neighbors.
It's your question. It's your question.
Okay, the question goes to Council Member Laura Rummel. When you ran your campaign platform last time, one of the platform points was of animal shelter. And you haven't delivered that. Any reason why?
You are talking about one of my favorite topics. So there is a whole webpage dedicated to the animal facility on the City of Frisco website. So what we have been able to figure out is how to build a public-private partnership that is going to be zero cost, additional cost to the taxpayer. That is very important because when people are saying they want to build a municipal shelter that we own and operate, that equates to about $2 million of operating cost every year that we would then have to figure out where that money's coming from. The way that we have structured this is the building itself will be funded by CDC, and then the actual ongoing operations is done by a city partner, and they are the ones who they will get deductions from their rent for city services that are provided. We have the most recent evaluation that we're looking at has the capacity built where we might not even need Collin County Animal Shelter anymore. This capacity of that would hit even our highest max of what we had on a regular basis for the last few years, and we would only need it in extreme situations like a hoarding case.
Thank you.
Are you wanting to use your challenge? The question.
Maureen, were the challenges only during the questions from us, or could they challenge each other?
This is where we read the fine print.
I know, fine print time.
But you can challenge one opponent's statement with a 30-second challenge statement.
So they can challenge.
You could
Yes,
challenge.
you can challenge.
So with the recent decision to not extend the ILA with Collin County, what happens to the animals on day number 6?
If you want to do the challenge, that can be your challenge.
If you want to use your challenge, you can challenge.
That can be your challenge statement.
So the facility is a minimum of 5 days. But we have and we're allowed to keep the animals until we reach capacity of the entire program, at the entire building. And with that, we believe we have the capacity to keep things for the entire time up to adoption. We know the average adoption is 18 days. And so that is the goal of what we're doing from this facility. So the intention is not to ship them off, but to be able to do adoption events, do different things that we can do here within the city that's better for our community, better for our residents, and better for the animals.
All right. Shri, we're back to you now. You get to ask a question now of one of your opponents.
You're back in the game.
So this will be for Laura. On the job front, like when you look at PGA, that must be having 175, the full-time employees, as well 1,000 part-time. That's what I've researched on that. And probably Universal Studio will have about 300 to 400. And how would you help reduce the burden on the residents on the property tax side?
Thank you.
What is
that was your 30
plan
seconds.
on that?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. We're running a tight ship tonight.
So the question is, how are we going to reduce the burden on our residents? And that is by bringing more business properties into Frisco. Ultimately, the goal would be if we could do 50% property value business, 50% home. That's value. That is not footprint. Value. If we can do that, then that allows us to create efficiencies across the city. That means that we're spreading the cost across all of the different aspects, and that allows us to reduce the residents' property tax rate. Since I've been in office, we've done the homestead exemption from 10 to 20%. We've done the senior tax freeze, and we have also lowered the tax rate almost every year. Most citizens in Frisco actually saw a reduction in their city taxes. I can't do anything about county or school, but I can tell you that look at your city taxes and see if they went down this year. That's something I've been incredibly proud of as the Budget and Audit Committee member, and I'm chairing that committee now. And I can promise I'm extremely fiscally conservative, and I will promise that we will continue to watch your dollar and continue to drive that down.
Okay, it's time for closing statements of 1 minute in reverse ballot order. So that means we start with you, Laura.
Well, again, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. I hope that what I've proved to you tonight is that I'm focused on results, not rhetoric. Like I said, I've never run a negative campaign ad, but I do want to talk about what I've done and what I want to do for you. And I'm hoping that you've heard that from me tonight. In anything that we do, we always keep the Frisco residents in mind. If you ever have a question about any of my decisions that I'd make, I welcome a conversation. If you have a concern with something that's going on in the city, please reach out. I'm very easily found online, or if you prefer to meet me in person, give my office a call and we'll make sure to get something scheduled. I promise I will continue to do what I think is best for Frisco in the next 3 years, and I hope you send me back to council. Thank you.
So why should you vote for me? My opponent over here has twice said that she's fiscally conservative, yet she pushed for a bond on a theater. I would never do that. Number two, I would never reduce your public input speaking time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. Number three, I would never break a promise. If I promise on animal shelter, I will deliver it, and I will not compromise and deliver a 5-day temporary animal facility. I have the experience and the skills to make Frisco better. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming here today. I see a good audience, and probably the word will spread across what is the best that's going to happen for Frisco. So for Frisco is a beautiful city, but we cannot take it granted that it's going to be the same if the progress doesn't happen. So the next 100,000 people that are going to come by 2040, we need to make sure that the same process and progress needs to happen. So for that to happen, we need to plan ahead and listen to the residents of Frisco and protect our homeowners and the taxpayers. This is what my goal is for the next 3 years. Thank you.
Well, and a big thank you to all three of our City Council Place 5 candidates. A round of applause, please. All right, we're going to bring up to the stage our Place 6 candidates, Place 5 candidates. Yes, bring your water bottles
Take your
with
waters
you.
as a souvenir.
Yes.
Rick, should we remind them again of early voting? Because I think it starts Monday.
I think so.
April 20th is here before you know it.
So yes, remember, early voting does start on April 20th, runs through April 28th. Election day is Saturday, May 2nd. Visit friscochamber.com/vote for polling locations and times, your sample ballot, and all of those helpful informational links.
I think, too, a good reminder is in Collin County, you can vote anywhere on Election Day and anywhere in early voting. But in Denton County, you have to vote at your specific precinct on Election Day. So if you don't want to do that, make sure to vote during early voting because you can vote anywhere during that time.
Look at you dropping polling place knowledge.
I'm in
Wow.
the news, you know.
Wow.
All right, next up, we have our candidates for Frisco City Council Place 6. Welcome to the hot seats. Our candidates, we have Brittany Kohlberg, Sai Krishna Rajanajar, Matt Chalmer, and Jerry Spencer. Welcome again to the table. All right, I think we're ready to get started with opening statements. Are you guys ready?
Are you ready?
Are we ready? Let's get into
All
opening
right.
statements. If you didn't know, you guys get 2 minutes for opening statements. We're going to go in ballot order. So, Brittany, you're up.
Good evening. So many familiar faces in the crowd. For those that I have not met yet, my name is Brittany Kohlberg. I'm running for Frisco City Council Place 6. I'm a 26-year resident here, and I'm not just a resident. I've served this community and served alongside many of you. I love this place so much. Frisco's so special. I've raised my family here. My husband of soon to be 25 years is also my campaign manager. Let me tell you, that's super fun. We're only talking about either work or the campaign all the time. I've raised my 2 beautiful daughters here. They went off to graduate from Baylor, and they're now in downtown Dallas, and I'm so hoping I can get them to come back to live in Frisco. The key thing I want you all to know is that I love serving here, and that is shown through my community service as well as my civic service. I started 2 decades ago serving on the Citizens Sign Ordinance Committee, and for the last 8 years, I've served as the Planning and Zoning Commissioner, most recently being elected by my peers to serve as chairwoman. I'm a Leadership Frisco graduate. Thank you, Chamber, Class 21. And I've also served on our Citizens Bond Committee. I think it's super important as we are stepping into the last 13% development of our city that we make sure that we have leaders that have experience, leaders that listen, leaders that understand to stay calm under pressure, and most importantly, a leader that knows how to represent you and to make sure that you feel heard and that your voice matters. I look forward to this debate tonight, and also look forward to getting to know you all and hoping to earn your support in your vote. Thank you.
Hello. Yep. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sai Krishna, and I've been a resident for 9 years in Frisco. And I got married with 23 years, been 23 years, having 2 kids. My son is graduating this year from Independence High School, and is going to UTD. And my daughter is in the 10th grade. My background: I'm a registered nurse with MBA, and I've been worked in different various capacities, in ICUs, nursing homes, insurance industry, everything. And I also served in HOA board in our Lexington country. It's been like almost 4.5 years now. And I did also serve in my Indian community with the various capacities. Why I'm running is a big question. Every time I bring something new, city sincerity is infected in my medical terminology. Integrity is infected. Accountability is infected. It's all got sick. I know, everybody knows that. And nobody can do anything. Like, residents are considered, like I think it was in February, 2,000 signature went to garbage, like, boom. They all try to bluff residents. When you go and talk to people, they don't care about it because they made a decision before. They give an opportunity for the residents. So I want to clean that. I want to make citizens' engagement, bring back the citizens' engagement. And all the leaders who also called council members, they never come back until they want to get re-elected. You're seeing me every year here. I'll tell you. Yeah, and you're going to see me every single time, more frequently in your subdivision. That's my promise. I'm going to make it very clean, clear, transparent in the city. Thank you.
Matt, 2 minutes.
I'm Dr. Matt Chalmers. I've been a Frisco resident for about 20 years. I opened my practice in 2007. I've been married 16 years to my wife, Lulawa. She's actually an immigrant from Middle East, from Lebanon. She's probably the greatest human being I've ever met. We have 2 kids, Zane and Laith, 13 and 11, and they're awesome. Lots of fun there. We are members of St. Andrew's Church, which is in Plano, so sorry, but that's where we go. It was funny because I missed the P&Z meeting Tuesday because I was asked to sit down with Nadeem, who's a Pakistani representative for the Islamic community. And the thing he asked me is, told me that he's reached out to other people that nobody would sit down with him. And he said all he wanted was that someone would answer his phone call if he called a city council member. And I found that a little bit shocking because that's our job. So regardless if you think we're going to disagree on something or we're different religions or whatever, that's our job. So I just want you guys to know that if you guys want to reach out, you guys want to talk to somebody, feel free to reach out and talk to me because that's what I feel like our job is to sit down and talk with everybody and make sure that we're all moving in the right direction together. We might not agree on everything, but at least we can sit down and start opening communication lines. So I'm Dr. Chalmers, running for City Council Place 6. Thank you.
All right, Jerry, you're going to wrap it up for us.
Was there a question about why are we running, or are we
just your opening statement?
2-minute opening statement.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay. Jerry Spencer, I've been in Frisco for 22 years. My wife and I have been in Frisco 22 years. We live in Plantation Resort. The reason I'm running is because about 3 or 4 years ago, when I first, 3, 4, 5 years ago, when I first got interested in local politics, some neighbors, friends, acquaintances were talking about Sport City, USA, and Frisco becoming a destination city, and we were like kicking this idea around, and not everyone was crazy about this idea of Frisco becoming a destination city. I have taken that idea and tried to expand on it. I am not opposed to tourism. I'm not opposed to sports. I am opposed to this, what seems to me has gotten out of hand. And we are going too far in one direction. We're going too far in the tourism direction. Tourism is not all positive. There are plenty of negatives that go with it. There's an increase in crime. This has been well established by different social science research. There are what's known as tourist criminals. They follow the tourists wherever they go. And with FIFA being an international event, we're going to have people coming in here from all around the world, and God only knows. I'm not trying to scare anyone. What I'm trying to do is to heighten awareness about the negative impacts of tourism.
Thank you. Jerry, we're going to have you start with this next question. Rick,
Before you jump in, remember, you have one challenge to use during this time. Sam, take it away.
Yeah, great reminder. How would you foster a sense of unity that supports both a strong community and a welcoming environment for businesses and talent? Jerry, we'll kick it to you.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
How would you foster a sense of unity that supports both a strong community and a welcoming environment for businesses and talent? A sense of unity.
Welcoming environment for businesses and
talent.
Talent. I would follow the lead of our city manager, Mr. Wes Pearson. He's developed along with the city staff, they have developed a marketing plan. It's called the Frisco Way. I would take that marketing plan and the talent at the city staff and the city manager's office and run with it.
Same question to you, Matt.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Yes. How would you foster a sense of unity that supports both a strong community and a welcoming environment for businesses and talent?
The biggest thing is we're going to have access and communication. So, making sure that people can get a hold of us, making sure people can feel comfortable to ask us questions and kind of be, around what we need and what they need so that we can kind of get those things set up. And then as long as we're involved with our events and the things that we're having going on here, it'll help tie the citizens to all the things we're going on here. And if we start bringing those things together, it'll help bring up a better community, and so the EDC can bring in bigger companies and better talent to help us offset some of the property taxes and get some of this stuff done. Thank you.
That's a great question. So, in Frisco, just give you an example. We are actually in ISD youths from graduating every year 5,000 to 7,000 kids, youths from high school. Where are they going? We don't even have a resource in the city. Why does the employer has to come here when you don't have a talent? As you asked me, the talent. Yes. So we need to generate the talent. We have a resource, but we are not doing it. We are not effectively utilizing it. How can we do it? We don't have a teaching hospital here. We don't have a top-rated universities here which are aligned with the modern technology. We can do this with using a CDC money. We can bring the program. We can pay the program manager. So help the community, give it back to the community. What are we giving it back? Nothing, only strip mall and a restaurant. And then you get sick and you go to doctor. This is exactly what's happening in the city. That's not the way. Thank you.
Unity is super important in a community to keep everybody feeling safe and strong. I think most importantly, everyone needs to make sure in all four corners of our city that they feel heard, and they need representatives that will represent everybody in the community, not just a select few. Also, in order to attract talent and attract businesses, we need to make sure that our council is operating with a sense of decorum and working collegially together. On planning and zoning, it's something very important that even though we may disagree and we may vote differently, that we still treat each other with respect and make sure that we are all trying to come to the common goal of doing what's best for Frisco and its residents. When businesses are looking at our city council videos and how we conduct each other, conduct our business and treat each other, that's super important. The businesses see a collegial group that is representing the residents well and also making sure to represent Frisco well. Thank you.
All right, Matt, we're going to start with you, and we're going to talk about something that everybody loves to talk about: traffic and infrastructure. I know, don't go crazy out there, folks. With significant investment in roads and infrastructure, especially in North Frisco, how should the city balance costs between developers and taxpayers? And how will you ensure that infrastructure investment supports both new growth and the long-term needs of established areas in Frisco, like in the Southeast?
So as we start bringing in some of these larger mixed-use areas like the Mix or Firefly, we want to make sure that all the egress and egress from those locations are set up and done by the people who are building those large areas, so that we don't have to pay for getting people in and out of their areas. The next thing is that we want to make sure that we are structuring our contracts properly so that we can get these roads done a little bit quicker, because the larger we can expand these roads, it's going to be easier for us to bring in EDCs, to bring in other businesses. It's going to be easier for us to make sure that everything gets moved around. And so that's going to be one of those big things we have to try to make sure that we deal with. As these guys come in, it'd be nice to be able to get some of these roads done early, and then get these guys to come in and help sponsor the property tax. These larger companies come in and sponsor the property taxes so that we can make sure we solve all of our movement and traffic needs. Thank you.
Same question, 1 minute.
Yeah. I think we need to first stop building the roads in a piece-wise. So we need to develop the roads, build the roads in a one stretch, and expand the road in the same time parallelly. Otherwise, the traffic issue is never going to be solved, number one. Because we are lying on the 121 border. Everybody has to pass. If the people living in Prosper, Selena, they have to pass us. So that's the biggest concern. Secondly, multi-utilization. If we start thinking about putting in corporations, houses together, walkable distance, small businesses, everything, I think we can prevent reduce the traffic issue. More focus on in one stretch, building the roads that will reduce the stress on the residents and improve the quality of life. Thank you.
Brittany, 1 minute.
So on the campaign trail, nobody ever talks about traffic. Totally kidding. We hear it all the time. Unfortunately, you cannot lay enough concrete down to solve for all of our traffic issues. What I keep joking and telling people at meet and greets is quit telling everyone how great Frisco is so no one else comes here and then we won't have any traffic problems. But as far as a concern, the key thing we need to make sure that we're doing is continuing to support our microtransit. And we have DCTA right now that the city just approved, as well as we're about to pilot microtransit in the rail district, which is going to be fabulous for World Cup. So the more options that we have where we're being creative with our microtransit as well as our mixed-use development, which creates a more walkability piece to the development, that's going to be the key thing. Our traffic engineers are doing an excellent job looking into AI solutions as well. So we need to keep being smart, and I'm not just saying that to be punny, but we need to keep being smart in our solutions with traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry?
I timed you while you were asking that question. That question was 30 seconds long. Longest question I've ever heard. Okay, I'm just going to talk about traffic in general. And my take on it is we should approach the traffic situation with the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. And the harm that we're doing in Frisco is we're inviting the entire world to Frisco as a destination city. We need to ease up on that, number one. And I think that would go a long way towards solving the problem. Thank you.
All right, this next question, Cy, we're going to start with you. As the Texas legislature considers property tax changes impacting both homeowners and businesses.
Can you slow down?
Absolutely.
Well, we're being timed, so. That was a good one, Jerry.
Oh, that was good. As the Texas legislator. Do I need to go slower?
I can't hear that, they're clapping it.
As the Texas legislature considers property tax changes impacting both homeowners and businesses, where do you stand, and how would you balance tax relief with maintaining the city services that Frisco residents and employers rely on?
Okay, that's a great question. I think we need to change the way we are, we have to focus on commercial-based tax versus the residential property taxes. That's the one key area that we definitely need to focus on. And right now we have I think 30% on the commercial and 70% on the residential burden. That has to be balanced. We need to definitely work on that one, and we need to push to the legislature to make sure that we can approach that path to fix the issue. And secondly, we need to cut down the waste which is happening in the city. So that can also, even if 2%, if we cut down, bring down 2%, we can still save $50 per house on the tax versus. So all you need a brain, where to cut down, how to cut down and manage unnecessary wastage spending. Right now it's not happening that way. Dollars has become peanuts to somebody's pockets. Thank you.
All right, Brittany.
In the 2040 comprehensive plan, the key thing is we need to have roughly 25 to 35% commercial to balance out our 65 to 75% residential. And that's a key perfect golden rule of keeping our taxes lower. So one of the main things we need to do is keep attracting amazing companies to come here. Most importantly, amazing companies that also have high-paying jobs that come with it. High-paying jobs for our residents is a priority, and keeping the city thriving like it is. That will help our tax base more than anything. Thank you.
All right, Jerry, the question's to you. I can hit you with it again.
I don't think I ever actually heard the question.
I can go slow too with this. As the Texas legislature considers property tax changes impacting both homeowners and businesses, where do you stand? And how would you balance tax relief with maintaining the city services that Frisco residents and employers rely on?
Well, the first thing I would do is lower your property taxes to 0.
Jerry just won.
They say, leave them laughing. So I'm done.
If you're talking about the proposed changes to actually eliminate property taxes in the state of Texas, I'm down with that. If we're just talking about them making it so that we can't raise property taxes here in the state or here in the city, then what we actually need to do is we need to come up with alternative funding, and we're going to have to bring in EDC for that. We're going to have to bring in larger companies to pay so that they pay their larger property taxes so that we can keep ours lower. That would be one of the major things. The other thing I'd like to do is start bringing in alternative funding options, charities, and events. If we can do a large citywide event, we've looked at doing some of this stuff. We're raising $3 to $5 million for these events with bringing sports and tournaments and things like that in. That would be the other way I'd try to look at it, is try to come up with some other way of funding what we're trying to do besides just raising taxes all the time. Thank you.
So we're going to let you all ask a question of each other. You get to ask a question to one of the candidates. 30-second question, 1 minute answer. Brittany, you get to go first.
Matt, would you please answer? I know you had talked about the animal shelter, city-run, full-service animal shelter. Can you answer the question about how that is going to be funded where it doesn't put a burden on the taxpayers?
Sure, one of the ideas that I had, so 2%, if we can get 2% of the city of Frisco to donate $20 a month, that's $1.2 million a year. If we can get 5%, that's $3 million a year, which would completely cover all of the costs we've talked about so far. I realize that sometimes charities are difficult to get people to do, but I think with the push that is actually pushing for this animal shelter and the people who have all the animals here, I don't think this would be a horrible way to raise at least most of the funds that we would need for it. It's going to end up coming down to taxes on the other side regardless. So if we could come up with a charity to offset 30, 40, 50% of it, I think that'd be one of the great ways that we can start finding alternative ways of funding the city. And that way is right now.
Okay. Jerry, you get to ask a question of your opponents. 30-second question, 1 minute response on their end.
Brittany, we have been on together on about 3 or 4 of these forums, and I don't mean to be rude, but I have not heard you come up with one original idea. Do you have any original ideas about the future of this city?
Would love that. I was actually an innovation director at a former company, and I love creative ideas. So one of the things that I think we need to do is bring our communication to the 21st century and make sure that we are pushing out information to our residents. That includes making sure that our work sessions are recorded so that you all get to see that at all times. I also would love to see our social media be posting about our city council meetings and the agendas linked on there as well, so that all residents feel that they are involved in the process and the information is directly being sent to you. Lastly, I would love to see our signs that our developers need to put up to announce our zoning cases that happen 15 days prior to the actual case. I would love to see those to have a big giant QR code so that when residents are driving by, they see something that they can scan, that they can immediately gather information, and they feel like they're being invited into the process, not just driving by a sign with numbers and codes. So I want to take elevate our communication to the next level and make sure that we are finding creative solutions to communicate with you all. Thank you.
Matt, you can ask one question of a candidate, 30-second question, 1 minute answer for your opponent.
All right. Well, Brittany, since you've been on P&Z for 9 years, you're the closest person to having somebody who's on city council now. What is your definition of integrity and transparency?
I think the most important definition of integrity and transparency is to make sure that our communication is very clear. I have led always to make sure that our residents feel heard, to make sure that we recently just had a case come before us where we had roughly 100 project input forms. I read every single one of those project input forms. I made sure that every resident got a reply back from that email that they had sent me, and I made sure that their talking time was listened to and processed and that they felt heard. So it's so important to make sure that you as a resident feel that the people that are representing you will make sure to advocate for you, that you are heard, and that everything is out in the open. I think that's the most important thing. Thank you.
Sai, your turn.
I have a question to Ms. Brittany. So, downtown devastation. Why did city did a feasible study before the time frame, how long it takes from start to end, and you like on what basis did you pull the money from CDC around 500,000, and you spent 200,000 for the marketing purposes, and you served you dispersed 300,000 for the 150 business, and some business went closed. So what was that?
I love talking about my rail district businesses. I'm a rail district resident, and I love our local businesses. They're the backbone of our community. So as far as his question regarding how we as a city help support our businesses, the businesses asked for marketing grants. That was the most usable funds for them. And what was a really great thing is I helped advocate with the businesses on behalf of Save Maine, for those that are familiar, which then those businesses, they got the help that they needed. And the CDC worked so hard to make sure that $1.5 million was reallocated from a facade grant that the EDC originally had set aside to our local businesses, and they are so happy to have that support. They're each going to have the opportunity to apply for $8,000 for each business for those marketing grants that will help them. And I think it's such a win for the rail district. Save Maine turned into Merchants on Main. They now call themselves the mom of the rail district, and they can't wait for 4th Street Plaza to open and be successful.
Thank you.
Sai, what's the challenge?
Okay. People there ran out of the business, and you gave them 2,000 for 18 to 24 months of business loss, and people has to pay their rent, people has to pay their wages, for their employees. How did you calculate that 2,000 or 3,000 for each business?
It would be your challenge.
It would be your challenge.
Your challenge statement.
It's your choice to use if you wish. Okay.
I guess just to say, I'm not currently on city council, so I didn't vote for what Mr. Krishna is referencing, but I will always stand for the residents, and I will always stand for local businesses and find any solution possible to make them thrive, because this city is worth it.
Okay, it's now time for closing statements. 1 minute, and Jerry, you're up first.
I can't be funny all the time. Frisco is like 245,000 people, maybe 250 this week. 10% of the population is over the age of 65. That's 25,000 people. That's a small town. Frisco does not have a senior citizen advisory board. I want Frisco to create such a thing. Plano has a senior citizen advisory board. I want the senior citizens in this town, I want their voices to be heard on every issue facing the city, not just creating fun and games, but the serious issues before the city. Thank you.
Matt, 1 minute.
So I've been here for about 20 years, and I've really loved being able to be part of the Frisco City and what it's kind of done for me and my business. And I'm going to be here for another 20 years. And so I want to make sure that we get everything cleared out. We get some new ideas, we get some new stuff, new blood in the city council, so we can get some, keep going in the direction we need to go. Maybe we can clear up some of the ideas and get a little bit more transparency in how we do things. And so that's kind of why I decided to run. And so I'm hoping to be here in the next 20 years and make it a better place. Thank you.
Frisco is lacking with ecosystem and also sustainable growth. So if you think, if the leadership was great who was serving now, a couple times who won the seat and who've been serving as a so-called leadership without a vision and made only a concrete in the city and only residential area. There is no engines which can generate revenue for the city. That's why we are penalizing on our property taxes. So if you think you need a change, not a false promises, and honestiness, no bribe in the city. So if you think that all, if you count that, please vote for Sai Krishna, place 6.
Frisco is such a special place. We are reaping the benefits of the big idea leaders that came before us. We need to make sure that this next vote puts in big idea people, and most importantly, people with experience. We are losing 42 years of combined experience on our council. We're a grown-up city now. We've got to make sure that the people that we vote in are the people that can take us to the next few decades and make sure Frisco stays the shining star that it is. I want to make sure Frisco is a place that my children and my grandchildren can have the same amazing life that I did. I am proud to be endorsed by former Mayor Mike Simpson and Tony Felker, the former president of the Chamber of Commerce, also from our police and fire associations. And I would be proud to earn your vote and to be your next city councilwoman so that Frisco can keep shining. Thank you.
And a big thank you to all of our candidates for Place 6 City Council. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for our candidates, please.
Take your water bottles as a souvenir and your name tag, please.
Sam, I think it's time for
I
our
think it's for
mayor's
the big race.
Yeah.
It's time for the mayor's race. As they're leaving the stage, I want to introduce you guys to our Frisco mayoral candidates as they're joining the stage. In ballot order, we have John Keating, Shauna Sowell, Rod Vilhauer, and Mark Hill. This is an exciting race, isn't it? We haven't had a new mayor in how many years is it now, Rick?
I think it's 9 years.
9 years since
Yes,
Jeff Cheney
9
was
years,
first elected as
absolutely.
mayor. So now this is a big race where we'll finally get a new face at the helm of our council in our city.
Absolutely exciting. And even more exciting is we are actually on time.
I can't believe that. If you would have told me that yesterday, I wouldn't have believed you.
No
Rick.
way. Crystal and Maureen will be proud of us.
They'll ask us back. My favorite saying, welcome to the hot seat. So excited to ask our burning questions of you guys.
Absolutely.
I guess we'll start with our opening statements, though. 2 minutes, you guys know the rules. As you guys get your water.
Stay hydrated. That's the key up there.
Maureen's
Stay
doing great
hydrated.
giving you paper for notes, just so you guys can keep your head straight. Hydration. Paper. We go old school with paper still. All right, I hope you guys are excited. We're going to get started with our opening statement. We're going to go in ballot order. So, John, that means you go first with your 2-minute opening statement.
Well, thank you. I'm John Keating, and I'm running to be your next mayor of Frisco. I'm a 26-year resident. I served in the military for 13 years as a U.S. Army counterintelligence agent with a top secret security clearance. I'm a combat veteran of Operation Desert Storm. Raised my 2 sons here. They went K through 12 in our FISD. Followed them to school and served on our PTA for 7 years. I earned the Texas PTA Lifetime Member Award for my work there, and then came to serve you here on Frisco City Council for the past 15 years. I've been part of some of our most incredible projects here in Frisco, including bringing the Dallas Cowboys headquarters and the Star here, UNT, Soccer Hall of Fame, and moved an entire sport halfway across the country with PG of America headquarters here with not 1 but 2 18-hole championship courses. And of course, this is with partnership with our FISD along the way, so our kids get to play in these facilities, and they return on our investment to help keep our residential taxes low. As mayor, that is my commitment to you, to continue to work to reduce the tax burden on your home so you can keep your money in your pocket where it belongs, to continue to work on traffic and infrastructure solutions. As we've demonstrated over the past few years, we've finally been able to get to a place where we're more proactive instead of being reactive. And then finally, keeping our city safe, and the #1 city in America, the place we love to call home, the place we call Frisco. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Good evening. Okay. Good evening. My name is Shauna Sowell, and I've lived in Frisco since 2003. We're a proud blended family with 5 grown adult children. I had the privilege of serving on Frisco City Council from 2016 to 2022 when I stepped back after a personal battle with breast cancer. While I served on Frisco City Council, I served as the mayor pro tem, the deputy mayor pro tem. I served as chair of the legislative committee, chair of the governance committee, and I served on budget and audit. I've also been at the seat of the table for all of our big, powerful negotiations that we've done to protect the taxpayer when it came to things like bringing the PGA here. But I've also worked on some smaller issues like getting signs and stoplights outside of neighborhoods to make sure that we were keeping our neighbors safe. Keep in mind that as I've knocked on doors, thousands of doors over the last few months, that I've talked to residents to find out what things mattered to them, what things mattered to you. You're smart, you're educated, you want a seat at the table for the decisions that are made here. What you're gonna hear tonight is a lot of talk. What you may not hear a lot of is specific policies. What we've talked about for months and put out there for you to see is where I stood on the issues, time and time again, on specific policies so that you would understand the direction we would take the city. I think you deserve that as a voter. I think that's important for you to know what the positions I've taken on the issues that have been before us over the last few months so that you would know how I would vote as a mayor. That's what you deserve as a resident. I am proud that I've given you specifics on public safety. It's why the police and fire associations have endorsed me, and I'm so proud to have the support of those who are willing to risk their lives every day, have put their support and trust in me, and I hope that you will do the same. My name is Shauna Sowell.
Am I on? Oh, yeah, I am. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Rod Vilhauer, and thank you all for coming this evening. It's Thursday night, and glad to be here. So, first of all, I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman. I have lived in Frisco for over 40 years. I am a born-again believer. Christ is the center of everything that I do. I believe I have a biblical worldview, and I make my decisions based on the Word of God. I'm also a husband. A wonderful lady sitting right out here. I'm a father of 5. And before I go to grandfather, there's 3 of them sitting right over here. One is in the tummy. My grandbaby that's coming, the boy is in the tummy of that one sitting right there. So that'll be number 6 on the grandchildren. Anyway, I can't wait to see him. I can't say his name, though. Anyway, I am a grandfather. I'm a family guy. That's what's important to me. This city, I've raised all my children here. I love this city. And Barry and I started a business here in 1990. We grew it with $40,000, grew it to $370 million a year and 1,600 employees. I think there's a few people in this room that were part of that company. I know how to handle the $370 million budget. This city is 2026 budget is $360 million. I believe I can lead people, and this city needs a strong leader as mayor, and that's why I'm running for Mayor Frisco.
Good evening, and first of all, thank you to Chamber and Grace Church for hosting us tonight. And first and foremost, I want to introduce my family to everybody in this audience, and they're seated right here in the front row. Tiffany and Emily, will you please stand up for 1 second? I'm very grateful that they joined us tonight. This is the first one they've been to. No matter what you hear tonight, no matter all the policies we talk about tonight, I want you to remember one thing. Strong families are what build a strong Frisco. I chose to enter this race for one reason, because I believe I can help. It has been the privilege of my life to serve this community for the last several years. I have had the opportunity to serve on the Frisco ISD board. I'm pretty sure we have a quorum tonight, actually. I've seen you in the audience. Think of all the good we have accomplished in the last couple of years. We have elected a superintendent that is beloved. I think is going to do great things for this city and for this school district. Who gets that opportunity? We've got to preside over an A-rated district. We've balanced the budget, done amazing things in this community. I've had the opportunity to serve as a director on Frisco's EDC. We have protected our low tax rate. We are generating the funds necessary to support a proactive safety in our community. We are a growing city. We need someone that can go and build consensus with people with different views. I'm thankful this week to have earned the endorsement of the Dallas Morning News, and I'm thankful to have the endorsement of the only former mayor in this city, Mr. Mike Simpson. My name is Mark Hill, and I look forward to this debate.
Okay, before we get into the first question, Sam, we have to remind them that you get one challenge and one challenge only that you can use during this time.
I think they're going to have to use it wisely.
Exactly. Mark, keep that mic on. We're going to start with you with the first question. Talking about really defining Frisco's identity moving forward. After nearly a decade of consistent mayoral leadership, the next mayor will help define Frisco's identity for years to come. How would you bring the community together across a diversifying population while also reinforcing Frisco's reputation as a premier place for business, talent, and families?
And how long do I have?
You have 1 minute.
Okay. Remember this. Positive culture of leadership starts at the top. We must speak positively on everything we do. And so one of the ways we actually put that into motion is we open up opportunity, leadership opportunities for our community. He is absolutely correct. We are not the community we were 10, 15 years ago. We have grown, we are diverse. This city and the vision of this city is largely created with the boards and commissions and other leadership opportunities that preside underneath the mayor and council. All of those positions are appointed by mayor and council. We have an opportunity to turn the page in a positive way. We have the opportunity to allow other leaders from all parts of the city to ascend up into leadership roles, to take the opportunity and to take this city forward.
Rod, same question to you, 1 minute.
Sure. Yeah, so I think with 1 minute, I'm going to go here. The first thing we have to do as city council and the mayor, we've got to get ourselves on the same page. We've got to make sure we're pulling the wagon, everyone the right direction, and that is to unify this city and do what's best for this city. Make sure we understand we serve the citizens here, not ourselves, and that'll be the first thing. The second is we are definitely a diverse, multicultural city, and I've caught a little flack, but I'm telling you, the Hindu American people here, there's a lot of them. And we can't ignore them. I'm going to reach across the aisle, and I'm going to build relationship. And we're going to do what we need to do. Let's all bring our 1%. That's what makes us each different. All our DNA is the same, 1%. Before I run out of time, I'm going to tell you this. Anyone that governs themselves by Sharia law, I am against 110%, and I will do everything I can do to make sure that does not happen. No more mosque in this city.
How would you bring the community together across a diversifying population while also reinforcing Frisco's reputation as a premier place for business, talent, and families?
I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing for a decade, which is meeting with all types of groups and residents, no matter who they are, no matter who they represent, no matter what culture they are, because that's what makes us the community. And the key part of that is I haven't just started that now. When I was campaigning, I've been doing it for years because those relationships matter already. So when we talk about building a community, when we talk about doing unified things, you have to go on the record that you've kept. And part of that is there are relationships that I started with that maybe weren't the same strong. They might not have been on the same footing, but we've come back to the table every single time to learn more about each other, to learn how we can serve each other, to learn what things are important to that other person. And when we can pull that together, that's what's going to make us united. But that's also what's going to make us strong, because when I sit down and I'm willing to say, I might be right, I might be wrong, and listen to you, we're going to make that better. Because when you can challenge ideas that I have, that's going to make us better, and that idea is going to be better in the end because it was allowed to be challenged.
I've been doing this work for 15 years. I've been out knocking doors inviting people to come out and vote. And not only that, but to also participate in the process. For our black community, our Hispanic community, our Indian community, have invited them to come out and play a role in our boards and commissions, to run for public office, and then have stood shoulder to shoulder with them as they've gone and cast their vision and built their teams and set goals and gotten things done in this city. And we've all watched it happen together as a team, as we've reached out to all four corners of Frisco to bring everybody together and build bridges and not walls. And that's something that I'm very, very proud of. We worked across different faiths, different politics, to make sure we have a diverse council, a diverse number of board and commission seats filled, and also very proud of what the work that the school district has done on their board of trustees and the positions that they have elected to have that same sense of diverse culture and have everyone in Frisco represented. Thank you.
All right, Rod, this question will go to you first. Hi, I'm here in the front. This question will go to you first. As the next mayor, you'll help set the tone for how Frisco manages its next phase of growth. How would you approach decisions around infrastructure funding, particularly the balance between developer contributions and taxpayer responsibility, and ensure that both fast-growing areas and long-established parts of the city receive appropriate investments?
Sure. So, first of all, anytime a developer comes, depending on the size or what his development looks like, he needs to pay for the infrastructure that ties to him. If they don't, there's such thing called impact fees, and they need to pay their share. And that's what they'll do, is pay impact fees, and then the city will develop and we'll go from there. But again, the only way we're going to keep the tax structure the way it needs to be, that it will help us fund what we need to fund, is we have got to bring top 500, top 100 companies here that will literally put property down, buildings down that bring great property taxes to us, because that's how we're going to take care of it. So I'll just leave it at that. I can go deeper, but we don't have time. Thank you.
Impact fees have already been talked about, and those are something that we need to stick closely to. But the other key part of this is making sure that we're reinvesting in all parts of Frisco. There is very much a feeling that some parts of Frisco are being left behind. And so we've got to make sure that no corner of Frisco feels left behind. But the other key part of this is that we, with only about 12 or 13% left to zone, we have the opportunity to be more selective. We have the opportunity to be more choosy. And we don't have to say yes to everything. And we certainly don't have to incentivize everything. We can be more selective with how we incentivize things, because what we need to recommend and remember for these developments is that sometimes in our when the things that we've used to incentivize have taken money out of the general revenue budget up to $3.5 million a year on some of these projects that then you as a taxpayer have to cover. So that's what we need to be more mindful of, is that how we incentivize these projects has to be where we're going to get the return for it, where the resident gets the benefit and not just pays for it.
We typically do make the developer pay for the development around it, and sometimes when we look at different parts of the city and we wonder, well, why isn't the sidewalk completed, or why isn't there a turn lane or a traffic light? It's because that's on someone's property that we want that developer to pay for that development. If it's a question of safety or efficiency in our moving our traffic around, then the city then would step in and budget for that and put that infrastructure in place. For the commercial, the infrastructure has and moving traffic has always been a top priority. I'm sorry, I made too many notes here. We do have old and new, and we do have a lot of north-south plus east-west traffic concerns. We've done well with north and south. It's our east and west traffic that we're working on now. Unfortunately, we have Stonebrook and Lebanon being worked on at the same time. It's a function of when we can get the dollars for those projects. Thank you.
As one of the 7 directors on the EDC currently, economic development is in my wheelhouse, and I want to just tell you right now, we had a meeting yesterday, and the first several projects that came before us didn't even need incentives. It's going on right now. In fact, I'll give you a quick example of one. Toyota is building all their new developments. They're moving across the 121 to Frisco. No incentives. Economic development is the key to low taxes funding safety. It's the hub for which the spokes of reducing traffic, keeping proactive with safety, and all these other things flow. Know this right now, we return about $3.50 for every $1 incentivized. That is unparalleled, and we are the envy. We need to continue that. That will help keep our taxes low, and I'm the one that has that experience.
All right. Shauna, this one's for you. You'll go first. We're going to talk public safety.
It's hard to hear when everybody's. I'm sorry.
You're going first.
Stop clapping,
Sorry
and we can all
about that.
hear.
All right, the next mayor will inherit a rapidly growing city where demand for public safety services continues to increase. What is your plan to ensure police and fire staffing keeps pace citywide? And how would you respond to residents and business owners who feel current service levels are falling behind?
This is probably my favorite question of the entire night. We need to make sure that we are staffing for not just a random Thursday night, but for all of the things that we bring to town, because that's where it's kind of starting to hurt us. We've already hit our overtime budget for the fire department for the entire year, and it's not even May yet. That's the issue. One of the things we need to be focused on, and this is where we've talked about specific policies, is 4-person crews for our ladder trucks in the fire department, because it is a National Fire Prevention Association standard, and we're missing out on some grants because we don't have that. We also need to make sure that we are not just taking care of our recruiting pay for police officers, but for our veteran pay, those who've been here 8, 10, and 12 years, because once we've trained them and we know they're good and we know they're good service-minded officers, we should fight in every way to keep them here serving our community. That's going to make us more competitive in the staffing. That's going to make sure that we bring the very best police officers and firefighters here to Frisco, and I'm so proud to have their endorsement.
Public safety is job number one here in Frisco, and about half of our budget goes to police and fire. Station 9 is now a regional training facility, so we don't have to farm that cost out. We're actually able to invite other stations and other regional partners in here. And it also helps with our mutual aid. As a neighboring city needs extra help, we can respond. And if we need extra help, those surrounding cities can respond, because we've trained together and worked together, understand the same radio frequencies and what the objective is to keep the firefighters safe as well as our community. Our police also now have their own police academy. That's been fantastic for recruiting and retaining new officers. We have 2 classes that have graduated. Our 3rd one is underway now. So as mayor, we will continue to keep public safety as our number 1 priority. Our ISO rating is 1. That helps reduce your insurance costs for your business and your home. Thank you.
I would agree public safety is a top priority, and the first place I would begin as mayor is to rely upon the subject matter experts. Fire Chief Glover is retiring. I've spoken with him on this. The first thing we do as mayor and as council is follow what their requests are. Same with Chief Shilson, who I've known and spoke to also. We need to make sure we are meeting their needs as a council and as a mayor, especially as we grow, as we have large events pop up, whether it's the World Cup, PGA Championship next year, Universal coming online over the summer. There will be different needs. I will say one thing, the city is recruiting better, and we're finding police officers from all over the world. Some of the most recent ones are coming from places like NYPD. And so we're having very good talent come here because we do have good safety, and we're going to make that a focus in the future.
Of course, safety is always very important. I think, some of the challenges that are coming with Universal Studios, with 50,000 cars a day and hundreds of thousands of children, it draws pedophiles. So I believe we need a task force. We need to be watching what's going on. The safety has got to be stepped up there, in my opinion. Of course, I am 100% for our law enforcement and our fire department. I've been supporting them here ever since I've been here. So whatever we need to do, and I know officers are hard to find. I know firemen are hard to find. It's very competitive around here because McKinney's growing, Allen, just about every direction from here, and they're hard to come by and they're sought after. So whatever we need to do to make sure we've got qualified people. And I think our pay is competitive, but whatever we've got to do to make sure we're safe here, I'm 100% in.
All right, John, you'll start with this next question. Recent council meetings have shown how quickly public discourse can become tense. As a mayoral candidate, how would you lead in those moments, balancing the need for open public input with the responsibility to maintain a respectful, productive environment for residents, businesses, and city leadership?
Well, thank you. Communication is key, and serving as mayor and working with our council and staff and with an understanding from our community as to how our council meetings are supposed to be run, the work that we do to put that agenda together, and then the input that we want from our citizens. So by all means, we want to maintain order and get the city business done, but we also want to hear the input from our citizens. I mean, it's literally called citizen input. So that is critical not only to the items that are on the agenda, but also is what is on the minds of the citizens and what is most concerning to them. If it's response times about police and fire, if it's tax rates, traffic, the construction on Lebanon, any of those things, we want to hear back from our community. And as mayor, you want to keep the dialogue going. You want to remind folks of what the rules are and keep that line of communication open so that it works both ways.
The issue of decorum was a major motivation for me running in this race. I have a proven history of success right in this topic. Does anybody remember our school board 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? Okay. We now have a school board that is functioning very high, professional. Our meetings are held with decorum. And guess what that's resulting in? That's resulting in clarity. That's resulting in better governance for you, the community, for our educators, for our parents, resulting in things like balanced budgets. These things are achievable. What you need to start that process is someone that can step into a council room and build trust with 6 other people, not coming from different camps, not coming from different factions, but build trust and make sound decisions. That's what I offer.
Would you repeat that question slowly for me? Thank you.
As a mayoral candidate, how would you lead in the moments of tense council conversation, balancing the need for open public input with the responsibility to maintain a respectful, productive environment for residents, businesses, and city leadership?
Okay, that was not slow in my view, but let me see what I can do to answer. So, of course, I believe the mayor's job here really, the mayor is the liaison between our council, our city government, and the people. So, as I hear the voices from our neighborhoods and from our communities, I've got to be the one that brings the council together. I think if we get on the same page, the leadership of this city, we can do whatever needs to be done. I'm not drunk, but we can do whatever needs to be done to make this city strong and accomplish what we need to accomplish. Keep this city great.
I believe there's 2 prongs to this. One is how the mayor treats the council around them. You have to treat them with respect, even if they disagree, because they were all elected the exact same way that you were. My leadership is not punitive. You can disagree with me, and I'm going to still keep you on the committees, and I'm going to still let you serve, and I'm going to still give you opportunities to shine, because that's what you were elected to do. So it's how you lead in the other people that are serving with you. The other side of this is how we deal with the citizens' input. I'm the only candidate who actually stood up for citizens' input to say we need to protect it and protect it for the residents. We need to make sure when they tried to push it to the end of the meeting and say that the residents and everyone else should speak at the end of the meeting, I said that's not right. Our residents should have the first priority. They should get to speak at the beginning of the meeting. They shouldn't have to wait till 10 o'clock at night to do that. So those things are key pieces, but we can also address it head on as leader and say, you can disagree, but how you're speaking about our other residents is not acceptable, and we're not going to take that anymore. So that's the way you lead this through this process.
Mark, we'll go back to you. And let's just talk policy. If someone were to come up on the street to you and say, what are your policy priorities as mayor? How would you answer that question in 1 minute?
My policy priorities are in the following order: keeping safety a top priority, making sure it's proactively funded. Number one, making sure we have restored and renewed partnerships with our greatest allies in this community, Frisco ISD and all of our regional partners. I know the mayor of Prosper, Mayor Tubbs in Salina, Mayor Cox in McKinney. If we want to solve traffic problems, it's a regional problem. You have to have these relationships to build to solve these problems. So safety, renewal of partnerships, and decorum. I intend to make sure we have a city council that is reflective of the good in this city. Okay, how we look impacts you. And so that will be another key priority of mine.
Rod, same question. On the street, 3 priorities, why vote for you?
Yeah, definition of policy is guidelines, boundaries. So when I talk about policy, the first place I'm going to start is accountability in this city, transparency, no behind these closed doors deals, whatever. I don't know where that came from, but those are the first policy that are going to take place. What we're talking about here, safety, streets, financial, those are goals, those are concerns, but when it comes to policy, let's clean this place up. I'm telling you also, our city council meetings have turned into a joke. They're an embarrassment to this city. And as I said the other night, these guys come in and start attacking anyone on this city staff, elected officials. I may go to jail with him, but I'm going to drag him out of there because it's ridiculous and it needs to stop. If they want to cuss people, they need to go outside and they can do it out there. If they want to come in for public comment, ask questions, absolutely. But we're going to bring honor back.
Thank you.
My first priority is public safety, and I've already given the specifics on that one, so we'll go quickly. I do want to thank you for mentioning the regional partnerships, because I've been talking about that for months as one of the tenets of my entire campaign, that the regional partnerships and how we worked on transportation and everything else that was going on mattered an extreme deal to how we were going to be successful. The other part I would talk about is the reinvestment in Frisco. We've got to focus on taking care of the assets we already have. The streets, the sidewalks, the parks, especially the ones that are all aging at the same time, the 25 and 30-year-old ones. Those are the ones that we need to reinvest our tax dollars in to make sure that the things we've already spent money on, we don't have to spend a whole lot more money on because we've waited too long to take care of them. And then the other thing I would say as a final thing is going after Fortune 100 companies, that needs to be our top economic process, needs to be going after every Fortune 500 company that we can get to come here that will balance out our tax base as we close out.
Because I'm fond of saying you get taxed when you make money, you get taxed when you spend money, and you get taxed when you save money, and enough is enough. One of my top priorities has been to help you keep your money in your pocket and to keep our tax rate low and competitive. And to do that, you have to bring in the economic incentives, the economic engine from corporate America, those Fortune 500 companies that bring not only the jobs, but they have to be high-paying jobs. They have to be well-paying jobs to keep our city as a full life cycle city so our kids can grow up here, go to school, and come back and live here, purchase a home here, and raise their families here and keep our community moving forward. Certainly, traffic and infrastructure. And yes, we do have an incredible team. Brian Moen is one of our traffic engineers, and as we were having problems with Plano at Preston and 121, we had Brian reach out to his counterpart in Plano, and they were able to figure out some of the timing light solutions there. So it's putting the right person into place to get these things done.
Now's the fun bit, right?
The fun part. Go for it.
Yeah, so each of you guys will now get the opportunity to ask one opponent one question. You'll have 30 seconds to ask the question, and the opponent will have a minute to respond. We're going to start with Rod. You get to ask your first question to whoever's up there next to you.
Actually, I don't have any questions at the moment. I'm okay.
Okay. Shauna, we'll go to you.
Mark, you've spent a lot of time talking about your experience at the EDC, and with an attendance rate of missing 1 out of every 3 meetings, and also you chose to run in your first term of being on the school board, how can the residents be assured that you will fulfill the commitments that are necessary with the job?
That data is incorrect on the missing of the meetings data, which we can all double check and verify that. My first year, I am the Frisco ISD liaison, and so there have been occasions during the EDC meeting, once or twice. We meet once a month, so if you miss 2 meetings, you're basically missing 20%. And so I have had a few conflicts with ISD and EDC. That's normal. That happens, by the way, and the EDC knows that because it appoints one of the directors as its ISD rep. And so there are naturally conflicts. Again, I have responsibilities. It's a privilege to serve both institutions of this city. I'm proud to serve both. I have never actually been questioned one time by any director or any staff member regarding my attendance. And so tonight is a first.
That would be your challenge.
This is my challenge. Yes. I'm proud to say that the chair of the EDC has endorsed me because they've watched the service of my counterpart here, and they've watched my service. And so the chair of the EDC, who has served with him on the EDC, said that based on the attendance rate, based on the service of me, and based on how I had served in this community, that they were standing behind me as the future mayor of Frisco.
All right, John, you could ask a question now.
Sure. Well, I'll also ask Mark a question here. You seem to have yourself represented as a director of the EDC or a board member. You do have the lowest attendance rating, and you also have never set foot in City Hall in either any elected or appointed capacity. So how are you going to hit the ground running in the first 90 days with no experience in City Hall?
I want everybody to remember that whenever people contend I'm part of the cabal, remember who's getting questioned here. Okay, now listen, I have been in City Hall many times, and like I've said, and what motivated me to run in this race, leadership is not determined by the tenure of your politics on council. That's not what you need in your mayor position, okay? You need experience that impacts and improves your lives. Every forum we have been in, economic development and education and partnerships come up time and time and time again, okay? Not council tenure. No one asks about that. Everybody wants to know how we lower your taxes, how we help your traffic. That's the experience that matters to you when you go vote. That's the experience that I have.
Sean Edward. You'll start with this question.
Mark gets to ask a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I got
Rick's
too
very excited about his last
excited
question. He's very excited about the last question.
I'll take that.
But Mark, you get to ask one still.
It's been 2.5 hours.
That's okay. I'll take it as a compliment. I have a positive question, and it's going to be a layup for Ms. Sowell. Tell the audience the best thing the City Council has done to improve the quality of life in the city in the last 1 year.
I believe the best thing they did was when they finally came to the table and supported Main Street downtown and the businesses downtown with what they were asking for.
Rick, you get to ask your question now.
All right, so we've talked a lot about public discourse, public safety, infrastructure, traffic, all the things. But let's imagine that you're at an airport having lunch, and someone asks you, as mayor, you're mayor, what makes Frisco a special place to live and work? How would you answer that question from just someone you would be speaking to? John, we'll start with you.
I believe that what makes Frisco special is a couple of things, but it starts with the people and the residents. And it starts with every resident who's put in time, whether they've been here 25 years or 40 years, or whether they've been here 5 years or 2 years. It's about how you bring your bit to the table and what you contribute to this community. I've learned so much by standing on the doorsteps of people, some of them who are new, some of them who've been here a long time, to talk about the things that matter to them. And that's what I think makes Frisco special, is because it's all very unique. For some of them, it's the way that they work. For some of them, it's the education system. For some of them, it's the great neighbors they have. And that's what I would share with someone who was asking me about what was special about Frisco. But then I also would look to say that it's the small business community and the large business community combined. Because if we don't have both of those working well, then we're not going to be strong and growing and thriving and going forward economically. And so those would be the things that I would say it's the most special about Frisco.
This does come up a lot. Sometimes I have to work through the Troy Aikman thing first and then get to talk about Frisco and Sports City, USA. So that's always a great opportunity. There's usually a little disappointment on the first and a little excitement on the latter. But, you know, it is the people. We do have an incredible citizenry here, just fantastic folks, literally coming from all over the place. And it's fun to say, you know, I'm not from Texas, but I got here as quick as I could. You know, the business community here is fantastic. Our school district is incredible. I just learned the other day that the #1 cutting board company in America is right here in Frisco. It's Boardsmith, and it's right behind the snow cone lady over here, and they have veterans employed there, and they have an incredible place. Speaking briefly just on our veterans, you know, we've been working to make Frisco more veteran-ready and veteran-friendly, and that's something that I'm very proud of and talk about with the city.
This question's very easy for me, and it's all about the families. I am raising my daughter here in this community. I have served this school district in this community, and it just gives me energy. I love serving this community. I love living in this community. And I'm looking forward to turning the page in a positive manner in this community. It's time we open up opportunities. Half of this stage reeks of politics. It's clear from today's debate. I want to rip it out of this city. I'm here to fix it in a very positive way. There's so much opportunity here. There's so many good people here. That's going to be my goal. That's my motivation. And it's the people here, the diverse people here, that motivate me and that I love about this city.
I think what makes Frisco wonderful and special is I've been here 40 years. I was blessed enough to be here when George Purefoy got here, about the same time. City manager, Mac Bocart, fire chief, Dr. Reedy, superintendent of schools. Every day, every decision made here, anything about the city, its future, our schools, it was wrapped in prayer. And the foundation of this, and don't fool yourself, the foundation of this great city is a biblical Christian foundation. Now, and to keep this place great for our children and our grandchildren and to build the legacies here, when the foundation falls, the rest of it goes away. So I just encourage all of us as citizens, as moms and dads and grandfathers, we are multicultural, all that. Let's come together, let's bring our best, and let's make sure we do this God's way.
Thank you all so much. We're now going to move into our 1-minute closing statement for you all. We're going to start in reverse ballot order. So we're going to start with you, Mark, for your 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you so much, and thank you again to the Chamber and to Grace Church and for everybody coming to spend a little bit of time with us this evening. I do believe experience matters. I believe I'm the right person for this time with the right skills that we need for this city, specifically economic development, education, and executive leadership. I have proven on all three of those to be successful and to produce results for this city. That's what this city needs right now. The second thing, it needs a leader in the room that can go into that council and empower those other council members. Earn their trust from day one so that they all can make good decisions for you. I believe I'm uniquely qualified to do that in this race. I'm proud to have this opportunity. I love this city. That's why I'm running to help it, and I would appreciate your vote. My name is Mark Hill.
think what sets me apart is the fact that I have built a business here in Frisco, the largest employer and the largest taxpayer for 8 to 9 years. I do understand budgets. I've negotiated hundreds and hundreds of contracts. I've managed people, built great teams. I am endorsed by the Denton County GOP. I'm endorsed by the Denton County Conservative Coalition. I'm also endorsed by Representative Mitch Little and Andy Hopper. Truthfully, I'm endorsed by friends and my wife and family and my church. So I believe, I just ask you to do this. Lay 4 resumes down here. Take the names off of them. Read the resume and choose the one that's most qualified.
I'm sorry, but it's not unity to say that someone who's challenging or has disagreeing ideas reeks of anything. And part of the problem that we have in the disagreements in our community is that we don't allow people to challenge ideas in a way and allow them to say, I don't agree with that, and let's still be okay. That's where we need to start in leadership. And calling people names and saying they don't have integrity, that's not positive. So let's talk positive. I've given you tonight solutions, real strategic policies going forward. That's what you deserve in a leader. When we've talked about public safety, I've not talked around it. I've not just said I like public safety. I've actually given you specific things I would do. When we've talked about business development, I've given you specific things. When we've talked about economic development, specific things. The entire time I've run this campaign, I've given you, the voter, an opportunity to see how I will lead you, not only with real understanding of challenging of ideas, but with specific policies to go forward.
I've cast the vision, I've built the teams, I've set the goals. We've gone out and got things done, the things that you asked us to do. We've produced fantastic results. This is the #1 city in America. Any city around us would gladly trade places with Frisco. It's an incredible place. We've shared the credit, declared victory, and moved on to the next objective. That's what is required of the mayor, is to build teams, set the goals, and get things done. I've done that for 15 years. I've worked with 16 different council members. I've worked with 2 city managers, 3 police chiefs, 3 fire chiefs, now about to be the 4th, a number of different city employees. I've watched the school district change over the years, and I've watched our community change as well. I've adapted to the change through good times and bad, through low economic times, pandemics, and through the good times as well. My name is John Keating. I'm running to be your next mayor, and I hope to have your vote. Thank you.
Okay, well, this brings us to the end of our candidate forum. We want to say definitely thank you to all of the candidates for participating in tonight's forum. Let's give them all a round of applause, please. And also, let's thank Rick and Samantha, our wonderful moderating duo, for moderating. Folks, reminder, early voting for the May election runs from April 20th through the 28th. Election day is Saturday, May 2nd. Be sure to visit friscochamber.com/vote for polling locations and times, your sample ballot, and helpful informational links. Also, let's thank Grace Church, please, if we can, for their generosity in hosting this forum. And out of respect for our host, we ask that all audience members, candidates, and supporters please exit the building promptly with all personal items. Thank you again for your understanding and compliance, and have a safe evening home. Good night. Thank you both. Thank you for letting us steal them for a whole evening. I was going to say a little while, but you know.